Hmm. All right, and we are live. Hello, everyone. It's me, Simon Wesley, one more time. And today, well, as you can see, we're gonna be playing. We're gonna be playing uh, Tsukihime, a piece of blue glass moon. Wait, darn it! Hang on. Oh, yeah, for some reason the capture card decided to be a little obnoxious. But hey, quick fix, thankfully. But yeah, we are. I'm kind of excited for this. I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed. Um, Witch on the Holy Night, and this is written by the same guy who did that. And I've also been enjoying Type Lumina or Melty Blood, and I know that that is a spin-off of this apparently. So I'm pretty excited. I know I know that we're gonna have a good time going through it. So yeah, it's whew. I do know that it's going to be a fair bit more violent than Mahoyo was. So I will, or especially like a scene early on, and yeah, in one scene early on. So I am gonna be a little more, I am gonna be a little more proactive with, uh, yeah. So there are a few scenes, especially early on, that I'm gonna have to take off the stream, partly because I don't want to be showing that on stream. I don't really want to be showing it on stream, or at least the CG on stream. But yeah, aside from occasionally having to take or to censor, for lack of a better word, I think we're gonna have a pretty good time with this. Oh, I've had this game on my Switch for like the past 3 months, 3 or so months that it has been out, and I've just been waiting for a good time to actually just jump right into it on stream. I'm excited. So yeah, I did boot it up because it did have a. I did boot it up once, and it does have like a like a prologue section. So yeah, we're gonna do like the prologue and the first chapter tonight. Though I might have to change. I'll probably need. I'll probably need to change this from how I did Mahoyo, because I did Mahoyo like at the very least a chapter a stream, but I I am aware that this is a lot longer. Now that Tsukihime is a lot longer than Mahoyo, and that I will probably need to cut streams off. Like, in between. I'll probably have to find good stopping points within a chapter. But I will try to stick to the, at least one chapter stream art. But, alright, let's get to it. I wake up to find myself in a hospital bed. There are curtains that I think I might have... Okay, yeah, I think it doesn't play that first cutscene that plays... I don't think it plays the cutscene you get the first time you boot the game up, unless you explicitly go to the gallery. But we're already here. That cutscene was just setting up for this. There are curtains that gently sway. A chilly breeze enters through an open window. I instinctively squint to the harsh color of the room. Where am I? What day is it? What happened to me? I can't seem to think straight. I try to push myself up, but a sharp pain courses through my body. My breath catches in my throat, and I start gasping for air like a fish. Is this what they mean by seeing stars? The moment I place my hand against the hard bed, pain erupts from the inside out again. Still lying down, I take a deep breath and look over my body. Both my hands are covered in bandages. My left leg's also set in a plaster cast. I feel tightness around my head, so it must be wrapped up too. A large, thick adhesive strip is stuck to my chest, like it's hiding something bad. My left arm has a tube poked into it. That's an IV drip. Don't pull it out. That is very important. Or it's either an IV drip. No, it's an IV drip either way. But it's either pain meds. Actually, no, it's probably just like a saline solution. Why am I getting caught up on that immediately? Some part of me understands. Oh! Some part of me understands that it's an IV. I guess I must have seen all of this while I was drifting in and out of sleep. The other room. Lit. Whoever's upstairs is doing the Kazatsky kick again. Sorry, I occasionally get, there's occasional stomps. The other room, dimly lit and reeking of medicine and chemicals. The array of tubes poking out from under the bandage on my chest. The scary man in the suit who came to see me. My little sister, getting scolded by the man when she came to visit. And the doctor, as giddy as a child. I remember all of it like it was a dream. I hear the voice of an unfamiliar woman. I don't have the strength to answer her. She then bursts out of the room, frantically calling for the doctor. Oh, God. Pitter-patter go her steps. You really shouldn't be running in a hospital, even if it is to get me help. Unable to lift my body, I turn my head and look up at the window. I feel a sharp pain in each of my eyes, as if a jagged knife were poking and prodding around inside my brain. The sky outside is so blue, it looks unreal. But I found my eyes flinching, not from the white, hot glare of the sun, but from the spotless stretch of blue. Days passed. Days pass. Since waking up, I still haven't been able to move from the bed. My only view of the outside world is the same faraway sky as before. Gently, the curtains flap. Dry wind touches my cheek. Stainless swath of blue leaves my eyes feeling woozy. Where am I? What day is it? Why am I in a hospital? Gradually, the answers come to me. Except for one. Keep looking out the window. Thought just out of reach. Something important. A tearful promise I can't remember.
はじめまして、遠野四季君。回復はおめでとう。
Words from a man I've only just met. He offers me a handshake. His gentle smile and soft-spoken voice, he seems like a kind man. Though I get the feeling he's someone who could wipe the smile off his face at the flip of a switch. Clean, white coat he wears fits him
四季
perfectly.
君、先生の言っていることがわかるかい？
いえ。僕はどうして病院にいるんですか？
覚えていないんだね。君は道を歩いているとき、自動車の交通事故に巻き込まれたんだ。
You sure about that?
胸にガラスの破片が刺さってね。とても助かるような傷じゃなかったんだよ。
The man, draped in white, smiles as he utters something a doctor probably shouldn't say. It's a miracle that you're alive. Queasy feeling I was holding back threatens. Okay, yeah, sorry, just moving myself. The queasy feeling I was holding back threatens to spill out after I hear those words. Oh, yeah, I had to... So... Honestly, I probably should have... At the moment, I'm using OBS to actually see my capture card because my setup is not exactly... I'm still new to using this, so I'm looking at this through OBS. Yeah, first time using an actual capture card or anything. Once I get a new PS3 controller, I'm going to be... Or once I get a working PS3 controller, I'm going to be doing... I've got like Okami. I've got like Okami for PS2. And I've got like one of the older versions of the PS3, so I'll be playing that once I get a working controller. Actually, I think I might have my copy of Persona 3. Oh wait, no, I don't have that on me. Darn it. Anyway, queasy feeling I was holding back threatens to spill out after I hear those words.
眠いです。眠っていいですか？
ああ、そうしなさい。今は無理をせず、体を休ませてあげないとね。
The doctor continues smiling. Honestly, it makes me feel
先
uneasy.
生、一つ聞いていいですか？
何かな、四季君。
どうして体中に落書きをしているんですか？この部屋もところどころひびだらけで、今にも崩れちゃいそうです。
For a brief second, the smile vanishes from the doctor's face. Then he rises out of his seat, smile reapplied. His shoes clack against the floor as he disappears behind the curtain.
やはり脳に異常があるようだ。脳外科の芦谷先生に連絡を。それと、視神経にも損傷の疑いがあるな。午後は眼科検査に回すように。
The doctor whispers to his nurse, his voice cold and harsh, starkly different from before.
変なの。みんな体に落書きしてる。
Well, in fairness, a doctor does need to be able to look at things objectively. Or at least a good doctor. Like, a doctor should obviously care for his patients, but also be able to think clearly and objectively about a situation. And obviously, to this doctor, he's probably going to be assuming a doctor's probably going to be quicker to assume a more natural explanation rather than what we're about to learn Chicky has. Frenzied lines cling to every surface of the hospital. I don't know why, but just seeing them is enough to make me feel sick.
なんだろうこれ。
There are even scribbles on my bed. Touch one of them with my finger. With the finger slides in. If I had something thinner, I bet it could go even further. Grab a plastic knife off a nearby tray and trace one of the scribbles with it. With no effort at all, the knife sinks down to the handle. Enjoying myself, I glide the knife along the lines in the bed. With a heavy sound, the bed falls neatly into 2 pieces. I turn to the voice behind me. The shriek belongs to a nurse standing at the door, her face stiff with shock.
どうやってベッドを壊したんだね、四季君。
I notice the doctor hasn't asked me why I broke it, but how. I'd probably be asking how. I'd probably be asking that same question, if I'm going to be entirely honest. Because Shiki sounds like he's, what, 10 or, like, 10 or less here? So, yeah, Shiki sounds like he's around 10 or so, maybe a little younger. How did he break a bed, especially that cleanly? Especially as cleanly as you can see in, like, the CG here. I notice the doctor hasn't asked me why I broke it, but how.
その線をなぞったら切れたんだよ。ねえ、どうしてこの病院はひびだらけなの？
いい加減にしないか、四季君。そんな線なんてないんだ。それで、どうやってベッドを壊したんだい？
だから線をなぞっただけなんだ。
わかった。この話はまた明日にしよう。
Doctor lets out a sigh. He stops smiling as soon as I mention the scribbles. Guess his switch is broken. This hospital's full of broken things. In the end, no one believed me. No matter what it is, I can cut it cleanly by slicing the lines with a knife. I didn't even need to put any muscle into it. It's easy, like cutting paper with a pair of scissors. Bed, chair, the desk, the walls, and even the floor. None of them are any different. I've never tried it. I'm positive it would be the same for people, too. Please, don't do that, Shiki. No one else can see the scribbles. Only I can. I think it's because everything is falling apart. And these are the seams holding them together. Just like my chest, it still has... Well, just like my chest, it still hasn't fully healed after the operation. So they've stitched me up where it would otherwise fall apart. Gotta be it. I mean, how else could a kid like me cut up a whole wall? The nurse screams again. Seeing the holes in the wall, she glares in my direction. Her shriek goes on and on. Luckily, something is up with my ears, so it doesn't sound all that loud to me. The drawn-out noise fills me with dread, like the sound of a burning cicada. Actually, what would a burning cicada sound like? I remember hearing cicada. I remember hearing, like, cicadas and, like, every summer whenever I'd visit my grandma as a kid. Or every summer when I was a kid, when I'd go visit my grandma. And... good lord, those things are... cicadas are so annoying. They kept me up all night. Everything is in tatters. The idea of opening my eyes, of living at all, is enough to make me want to disappear. All this time, I never knew. Gonna have to slightly reduce the gain for the... Actually, I might just increase the gain on my mic, because I'm noticing that... it's a little overwhelming at the moment from the game audio. Okay, All this time, I never knew about the stitches holding the world together, and how easily they can break. No one else sees them. That's why they can go on living just fine. They don't know about the cracks all around us. They don't know how damaged their lives are. But I see it all. It chills me to the bone, holding me in place. Since it happened, everything sounds muffled, like my ears have been stuffed. Only the gash in my chest screams like a siren. What happened? When? No matter how hard I try, I can't remember, and scratching my head over it doesn't help either. My brain must have gotten rid of that information to make space for something more important. Questions still leak out like water from a tap. Oh, I think I get it. The pieces all fit. That's why there's no mirror in here. If there was, the very first thing I would do is... I'd be laughing while it lay there shattered, which means they're not the ones in danger of breaking. It's me who's broken. Now it all makes sense. Why 2 weeks have passed and no one believes me. Why 2 weeks have passed and no one's come to see me. Why 2 weeks have passed and I'm the only one living in this stitched-together world. I don't want to be in this hospital anymore. I don't want to be surrounded by these scribbles. I have to get somewhere far away, where there won't be any people around. I'm not the weird one. This place that's weird is what I tell myself as I make a run for it. Wait, how did Shiki get... Huh, how did Shiki get out of the hospital? Honestly, I'm kind of impressed that, that little kid Shiki managed to get out of a hospital when he's probably under significant watch. But the wound in my chest stops me from getting too far. By the time I realized it, I ended up in the field next to the hospital. I didn't get very far at all. My chest is burning. I squat to the ground miserably, battling a bout of coughs. I can't stay here, but I can't go anywhere either. There's no one to go for someone who could see all the stitching. Another wave of coughs hits me. No one's around. A sea of grass at the end of the summer. It wouldn't be the worst place to disappear. The thought is suddenly interrupted.
君、そんなところでしゃがんでると危ないわよ。
Alko! I recognize that voice. It's Alko. Yeah, I recognize that voice. That's Alko. Probably an older Alko, but... Oh, wait, I think this game takes... I think the main bulk of the game takes place in, 2016? So, yeah, that has to be a much older Alko. The voice of a woman cuts through to my ears, clear as crystal. Hey! Don't hum.
ただでさえちっこいんだから草むらでうずくまってると見えないのよね。気をつけなさい。危うく蹴り飛ばされるところだったんだから。
I love Alko. She's great. The woman scolds me, her finger pointing at me grumpily. I feel anger creep up inside me. I'm not that small. I'm only the fourth shortest in my class.
蹴り飛ばされるって誰に？バカね。そんなの決まってるじゃない。ここにいるのは私と君だけなんだから。私以外に誰がいるっていうの？
I love Alko. She's great. The woman sure looks proud of herself, crossing her arms like that.
ここで会ったのも何かの縁だし、少し話し相手になってくれない？ 私は青崎青子って言うんだけど、君は？
She speaks casually, like one friend to another, and offers out her hand. Seeing no reason to refuse, I introduce myself as Shikitono and accept her offered hand, like I'm being pulled in magnetically. Talking to her is fun. She doesn't shoot down anything I say just because I'm a kid. She treats me like a person, listening to my every word. I tell her all about myself. I tell her about home, about my long family lineage, how my dad is tough on etiquette and stern all the time. How I have a little sister, Akia, who's really quiet and follows me everywhere. How I always played with Akia and our friends in the garden, which is as big as a forest since we have a huge mansion. How the attic is our secret spot. How I'm bad at word games. How everyone says I'm going to grow taller. How I used to like the smell of hospitals, but now I don't. How I love the sky when it's clear and blue, but looking at it makes me want to cry. How I'm glad to be alive. How I don't even hate the doctor with the pretend smile. I surprise myself. Keep yapping away feverishly.
おっと、もうこんな時間。悪いわね、シキ。私、ちょっと用事があるから、お話はここまでにしましょう。
The woman starts to leave. The thought of being alone again fills me with sadness.
じゃあまた明日。ここで待ってるからね。
Nice to see that Alko has matured significantly from the last time from when we saw her in Mahoyo. I mean, she's still the same Alko, but she's matured a bit.
君もちゃんと病室に帰って、きちんと医者の言いつけを守るんだぞ。
She says it so naturally, as if the idea that we weren't going to meet again tomorrow hadn't even crossed her mind. And leaves.
また明日。
We'll get to talk again tomorrow, just like we did today. So happy. The first time I felt something so strongly since waking up from the accident. Going to the grassy field in the afternoon has become a regular thing. The lady would get angry whenever I called her Alko. She seems to hate her own name. Not sure what to call her at first. I eventually settled on Sensei. Master Alko. Sensei, oh, I mean, I'm guessing he bet it's Sensei. Because the idea of Alko having someone call her Aozaki-sama is kind of ridiculous to me. Sensei always listens to whatever I have to say, solves each and every one of my problems. Since the accident, I've hated talking to people, but thanks to her, I'm slowly becoming my old self again. Being here on the grassy field is the only time my worries slip away, and I feel like the old me. I don't know who she really is, but I get the sense she could actually be a real teacher at some school. Not that it's any of my business. Being around her is fun. That's all that matters.
ねえ先生、僕こんなことができるよ。
I want to surprise her. I pull out a knife I took from the hospital and cut the tree standing in the field. Tracing the lines, I slice from the center of the tree to the bark.
すごいでしょ。落書きが見えてるところならどこだって簡単に切れるんだよ。こんなの他の誰にもできないよね。
She's speechless. I get into a groove and decide to sink my knife into a horizontal line across the base of the tree. She rushes towards me, and I feel the palm of her hand slap my cheek.
やめなさい。君は今とても軽率なことをしたわ。
You know, I would say something about Alko being the last person to call someone thoughtless, but I mean, this is an older, somewhat more mature Alco compared to the immature 17-year-old we saw in Mahoyo. What she did was incredibly thoughtless. She stares at me seriously. It's an unforgiving look, the determined gaze of someone about to punish an evildoer. How could I be so stupid? I was having so much fun, I completely forgot. Scribbles shouldn't exist. Which means someone like me who can see them shouldn't exist either. A feeling of regret seeps in my chest like blood. Wish I could crawl up into a ball and die. That tree was the last reminder that this field was once a forest. Desperate to show off, I went and destroyed it. For no real reason at all.
ごめんなさい。
I feel tears trickle down my face. And no boy shouldn't cry, but I can't help it.
四季。
I hear my name called softly. Suddenly, even with the knife still in my hand, she hugs me tight.
謝る必要はないわ。うん。まあ、確かに四季は怒られるようなことをしたけど、それ。悪いのは僕だけじゃない。
Doesn't matter, but it doesn't mean you're the only one to do something bad.
ええ。でもね、四季。それとは別のところで、今誰かが君を叱っておかないと取り返しのつかないことになる。だから私はあなたを一人の人間として見た。同じ立場の人間として意見して、怒って本気で叩いた。力加減を間違えていたら、私も四季を殺していたかもってくらい本気で。
I mean, well, it makes sense. Alco is like just like comedically powerful. Words truly frighten me. It isn't that I'm afraid of her killing me, but that I pushed her in almost doing so. The thought of it makes my heart sink.
泣かないで、四季。私も謝らないから。あなたはそれだけのことをしたんだって覚えていてほしいから。うん。その代わり、四季は私のことを嫌ってもいいわ。うん。先生のこと嫌いじゃないよ。そう。本当によかった。私が君に出会ったのはこのためだったみたい。
Just like that, as if to melt away my feeling of regret, she quietly asks me about the scribbles I keep seeing. When I start telling her about the lines, I feel her hug me tighter.
四季、君が見ているものは現実のものよ。決して見えてはいけないものだとしても、他の人間にとってはありえないことだとしても、その線は幻じゃない。あなただけにある現実。そっか。じゃあやっぱりおかしいのは僕だけなんだね。ええ、あなたはおかしい。そこはごまかしようがない。
I fight back the tears. What she said stings 1,000 times more than when the doctor doubted me. But it's not like I didn't see this coming. From the very start, from the very moment I woke up, I've known the truth. I shouldn't even be alive.
謝らないで。その異常はおかしいだけで、説明がつかないものじゃない。道理が通っているものなら、人間は何にだって向かっていける。どんなに馬鹿げたデタラメがやってきても、知恵と勇気で乗りこなすのが私たち人間よ。
My first lesson, she calls it, with a hint of embarrassment. Having a strange condition isn't a problem itself. The problem is how I choose to deal with it.
じゃあ この落書きも説明できる？もちろん。ものにはね、壊れやすい箇所というものがある。いつか壊れる私たちは壊れるがゆえに完全じゃない。君の目はそういったものの末路、言い換えれば未来を見てしまっているんでしょう。未来を見てるの？そうよ。今はそれ以上は知らなくていい。もし君がそういう流れに沿ってしまう時が来るなら、必然としてそれなりの理屈を知ることになるでしょう。先生、何のことだかよくわからない。ねえ、分かっちゃダメ。今大事なのは一つだけ。その線は決していたずらに切ってはいけない。君の目は物の命を軽くしすぎてしまうから。うん、先生が言うならしない。それになんだか胸が痛いんだ。ごめんね先生、もう二度とあんなことはしないから。よかった、シキ。今の気持ちを絶対に忘れないで。そうしていれば君は必ず幸せになれるんだから。
She uncoils her arms, freeing me from her embrace. The sensation, cold and yet warm, fades away.
でも先生、この落書きが見えてると不安なんだ。だってこの線を引けば切れちゃうんでしょ。なら僕の周りはいつバラバラになってもおかしくないじゃないか。その問題は私が何とかするわ。どうやらそれが私がここに来た理由のようだし。
She heaves a long sigh and then smiles at me.
シキ、明日君にとっておきのプレゼントを。私が君を以前の生活に戻してあげる。
It's really nice to see. It's okay, after going through Mahoyo before this, it's both a little surreal, but also really nice to see a calmer, more mature Alko. Like, she's still very clearly that same, like, spirited. She's still got, like, the same spirit, but she's also just older, more mature. Or she's older, more mature, more insightful. The next day. On the 7th day since I first met Sensei, she comes to the field holding a huge trunk with one hand.
はい。これをかけていれば、もう妙な落書きは見えなくなるはず。
She hands me an ordinary pair of glasses.
僕、目は悪くないよ。いいからかけなさい。度は入ってないから。
I do, she says, and put them on. And the moment I do...
ああ、すごい、すごいよ先生。落書きがちっとも見えない。当たり前よ。わざわざ姉貴のところの魔眼殺しを奪ってまで作った青崎青子渾身の一品なんだから。粗末に扱ったらただじゃおかないからね、シキ。
Wait, she just stole... So wait, she basically just stole a pair of these mystic eye killers. Oh wait, like that same pair of glasses that Toko wore in Mahoyo. Huh. So she stole a pair of those from Toko and retooled them to give Shiki a pair. This is why we love Alko.
大事にする。けど先生ってすごいね。あれだけ嫌だった線がみんな消えちゃって、なんだか魔法みたいだこれ。それも当然。 だって私魔法使いだもん。
A smug grin stretches across her face as she drops the trunk to the ground.
でもね、シキ、その線は消えたわけじゃないわ。ただ見えなくしているだけ。そのメガネを外せば線はまた見えてしまう。見えないだけ？ええ、そればっかりはもう直しようがないことよ。君はその目となんとか折り合いをつけて生きていくしかないの。
There's no way to fix your condition. Best you could do is find a way to live with it.
やだこんな怖い目いらない。またあの線を切っちゃったら先生との約束が守れなくなる。
Easily, good words from Malco.
ああ、もう二度と線を切らないっていうあれか。バカね、あんな約束気軽に破っていいわよ。
そうなの？だってすごくいけないことだって言ったじゃないか。
No, I think she said that Shiki shouldn't cut them on a whim.
ええ、いけないことよ。けどその目は誰にも頼らない。君個人の力なんだもの。
Oh, I just realized my face is hidden, so I'll just move my head to the other side of the screen. Hidden by like the little block in the corner.
だからそれを使おうとするのは君の自由。その目があることについて君以外の他の誰も君を責めることはできない。問われることがあるとしたら、あなたがその力で何をしたかということだけよ、シキ。
僕が何をするか。
She stares into my eyes as if trying to peer inside.
そういうこと。うん、やっぱりいい目だ。正直言うとね、初めて君と会った時、めんどくさいのにぶつかっちゃったなーって思ったんだ。でも問題なんてなかった。君はちゃんと生きている。なら人生かけて取り返していきなさい。
Even with a whole lifetime, I can never find the words to describe the light I felt in my chest, or the rush of joy that came with it. You belong here. She reaffirmed my reason for being, or forcefully than anyone.
シキ、君は個人が保有する能力の中でもひどく得意な能力を持ってしまった。神様は何の意味もなく力を分けない。君の未来には必要になる時があるから、その直視の目があるとも言える。それは残酷なことだろうけど。
God doesn't grant. It is. It is very strange seeing Alko be all wise all of a sudden. Though I guess she's had a significant amount of time to wisen up.
だからこそ忘れないで。君はとてもまっすぐな心をしている。今の君がある限り、その目は決して間違った結果は生まないでしょう。成人になれなんてことは言わない。君は君が正しいと思う大人になればいい。いけないということを素直に受け止められて、ごめんなさいと言える君なら、10年後にはきっと素敵な男の子になってるわ。
She stands and reaches out for the trunk.
あ、でもよっぽどのことがない限りメガネは外しちゃダメだからね。特別な力は特別な力を呼ぶものだし。はい、私からの忠告その2。
Special powers have a tendency to attract other special powers. So I guess this works like stand logic in JoJo. Stand users always attract other stand users.
反則の出しどころ、勝負どころをよく考える。そうならないことを祈っているけど、どうしても自分の手には負えないと判断した時だけメガネを外して、よく考えて力を行使なさい。その力自体は決して悪いものじゃない。結果をいいものにするか悪いものにするかはあくまで君の判断次第なんだから。
She picks up the trunk. And without her even saying a word, I know. It's time for us to say our goodbyes.
無理だよ先生。僕だけじゃいいことになんてできない。本当は先生に会うまで怖くてたまらなかった。けど先生がいてくれたから僕は僕に戻れたんだ。ダメなんだ。先生がいなくちゃこんなメガネがあったってダメに決まってるじゃないか。
四季、心にもないことは言わないこと。自分自身も騙せないような嘘は聞いている方を不快にさせるわ。
Lie that you can't even fool yourself with will only end up upsetting the one who hears it. Sensei's displeasure is readily apparent in her expression. She then flicks my forehead.
自分でも分かっているんでしょ。もう大丈夫だって。ならそんなつまらないことを言ってせっかく掴んだ自分を捨ててはいけないわ。それじゃあお別れね。バイ、シキ。どんな人間だって人生ってのは落とし穴だらけなのよ。君はそれを何とかできる力があるんだからもっとちゃんとしなさい。
She's really leaving. I'm sad, but as her friend, I want to see her off right.
さよなら先生。
よし、上出来上出来。その息でいつまでも元気でね。最後の教訓。ピンチの時はまず落ち着いて、その後によく考えること。大丈夫。君なら一人でもちゃんとやっていけるから。
She smiles fondly. A gust of wind sweeps through, sending a ripple across the sea of grass. She's gone.
バイバイ先生。
As I say the words, the realization that I'll never see her again sinks in. Left me a treasure trove of advice and a strange pair of glasses. In just 7 days, I feel like I've learned the most important things of all. As I stand there aimlessly, tears start welling up. I'm such an idiot. All I said was goodbye. Not once did I say thank you. I'm discharged from the hospital soon after. I won't be going back to the Tono household. Instead, I'm to be taken in by another family. My body has recovered, but there's still lasting symptoms. To the Tonos, this means I'm defective. I'm no longer needed. But I don't care. Shiki Tono is going to be fine on his own. A new life and a new family are waiting for me. I leave behind the hospital room where I spent my 10th summer. The curtains by my windows sway in the breeze. Just like always. I take in one last glimpse of the blue sky. As I do, a dry breeze washes over me, spelling the end of summer. Day 1, Homecoming 1. The tracks take a sudden dive, leaving the surface behind. Casting an artificial light across the tunnel walls, the train makes its way through the darkness. The car creaks around me. Man-made lights pass by at regular intervals. Vibration through the seat lulls me into a reflection on this short little journey. It's early. 6:33 a.m. 30 minutes have come and gone since I got on this train. That's how long it's been since I said goodbye to the people who took care of me all this time. How I react to this probably says a lot about me as a person. I'm sure some people might feel sad and wish they could have stayed longer. Others would accept it without a second thought. Wonder which side I fall on. I realize after a moment that I don't really feel either. I'm the only one sitting on the 8-seater bench. Seats in front of me are empty. There are only a couple of other people on the train, including a sleeping man in a suit on the bench next to mine, and a woman standing in front of the door. Maybe early, but it feels particularly empty today. The noise from outside is strangely muted, but maybe I'm just lost in thought. The train vaguely reminds me of a spaceship traveling through the darkness of outer space. No sound can reach it out here. The only things here are my stupid daydreams, the sound of my heart beating, and my memories from an hour ago. It came like a bolt from the blue. Akihisa Tono has died. Shiki Tono is to return to the Tono household immediately. First contact I'd have from my family in 7 years. That's how it goes. The Tono family's word is final. Still a student. They pay for all my expenses. Choosing to return to the mansion today instead of yesterday was my one act of defiance. I just wanted to stay a little longer at the home where I'd spent so much of my life. It was all I could do for the family that took me in and treated me like their own. Thank you for breakfast. It was delicious. I finish my meal, leave the table before the sun even rises. Taking one final glance at my room, I clap my hands together in thanks. It's not much. It's not much for all the time I've stayed here, but I don't want to leave anything unsaid. I've lived a happy life here. That's why I want to carry it away with me. Keiko set me off alone as I left the Arima household. I asked to leave quietly without waking the others. Thank you for everything. My regards to Dad and Miyako for me. 7 years. The woman who had acted as my mother in that time looked terribly sad. Never once thought I'd see her like this. Life may be hard at the Tono mansion, but you'll be okay, understand? Don't overdo it. Make sure to look after your health first and foremost. Take her words of encouragement to heart. My time spent with them was peaceful. I just hope I didn't cause the Arimas too much trouble during my time with them. It's been 7 years. I've had plenty of time to recover. A lot sturdier than I look, you know. Yes, you're right. The Tonos are quite the unusual family, but you're not one to let that bother you. You've always been a strong boy. She smiles through her sadness, and I smile back. I'm happy that she still considers me to be her child. I think you're giving me a little too much credit. I should get going. Take care, Mom. Goodbye, Shiki. Take care. Keiko knows that I won't be coming back. She sends me off with tears in the corners of her eyes. That was just 40 minutes ago. That moment marked the end of my previous life. The start to my new one. View outside shifts slowly. We must have crossed the river that separates the suburban Yashiroki and arrived in the city of Soya. The train begins its return climb to the surface, and I can feel the gentle incline. Bright light shines through, piercing my eyes, which have grown accustomed to the artificial dimness of the subway. The train sweeps towards the city. The majority of its inhabitants are still asleep. Outside, the air is chilly. All morning in the month of October. The heat of summer is little more than a faint memory now. Oh, hey. What a coincidence. We're almost 13 or so days. We're about 2 weeks or so away from October. I've watched the same view nearly every day for a year and a half now. This is the last time I'll be taking this train to school. Memories of the past 7 years rush by like the scenery outside the window. I survived a terrible injury that would have killed most 10-year-olds. I met the woman that would become my sensei, my mentor in life. I went to live with the Arima family. Now, I'm halfway through my 2nd year. The thing Master feared might happen when we parted never came to pass. And as long as I have these glasses on, I don't have to worry about seeing those lines again. So, Tikitono has led an ordinary, though at times difficult, life. That all changes today. There's nothing major like feeling I don't belong or anything like that. I just don't feel right going back to the way things were before. Having lived a normal life these past few years, the Tono family's way of doing things just seems like a pain. Or at least more trouble than it's worth.
だいたい学校より広い洋館とか想像つかないんですけど
I'm surprised I was able to handle it when I was a child. The thought of going back to that old-fashioned way of life is daunting, to say the least. The train stops at a large station for a few minutes. The local line I'm taking has to wait for the express to pass. The platform is empty. Usually I would expect to see morning commuters in suits on their way to work, but it's particularly quiet today. The express passes by on the neighboring rails. Wow, I have not heard a ringtone like that in a while. Thank you for your patience. The next stop is an announcement I've heard hundreds of times placed. The door closes with a hiss of air. I see there are 4 stations left to Soya Station, station where my school... CL? Hey, CL! Girl wearing my school's uniform slips through the automatic doors as they close. Her ribbon is green, so she must be a 3rd year. I feel like I've seen her before. The bag she's holding in her hands must contain things for her club activities. Our eyes meet for a moment. The girl continues to stare at me. Just when I notice that she's walked closer...
おはようございます。朝からお騒がせしてごめんなさい。
あ、いえ、こっちこそすいません。ジロジロ見ちゃって。
The way she smiles has me apologizing almost by reflex.
いえいえ、目立つようなことをした私に非があるんです。先輩として恥ずかしいところを見せてしまいました。でも、朝は弱いって話、本当なんですね。
The girl laughs lightly. I'm distracted by her laughter, and...
ほら、私ですよ。先週会ったばっかりなのに、もう忘れちゃったんですか？
She is cute. The L is very cute.
シエル先輩。
In an instant, my memories jolted awake. I knew she felt familiar. Crossed paths with her a number of times. And now that I think about it, there's probably not a person in the whole school who doesn't know CL. Soya High's most revered third year. Happy to offer advice to any distraught first year. Eager to solve the woes of any troubled second year. And quick to save underclassmen from the ire of the third years. Some students call her the true student council president, considering most people rely on her over the teachers or our actual student council. She even helped me with something just last week. Man, how out of it am I? CL's right about how I hate mornings, but thinking about returning home for the first time in 7 years must be killing my brains. I read that and I'm wondering if that's how it's actually phrased in the original. Sorry, this as far as I know, this is still like a as far as I know, this is a solid localization. But sometimes I just see a turn of phrase like that, and I think, wait, what? That's an odd thing. That's an odd translation. But hey, you know what? I mean, I think it fits. Anyway, let's move on. Oh, hey, choices! We actually get choices in this one. Yeah, we didn't get choices. We didn't, like, Mahoyo was just flat out, like, no choices or anything. We get choices here, which also means we're probably gonna get horribly violent, death scenes. Can't think of a single thing to say. Think of something to ask. Take the opportunity to admire what's in front of me. People in chat, which one of these options do I pick? Actually, wait, I could also... I have dice, I could just roll like a d3 because I don't really know which one to pick. I doubt this one's going to be I doubt this is an important choice, but from what I know, there are two routes in this game, arcades and CLs. I'm guessing what I pick here will determine, or will go towards determining which route I end up going on. So yeah, anyone in chat, which of these options should I pick? Can't think of a single thing to say, think of something to ask, or take the opportunity to admire what's in front of me. And if anyone has any suggestions, I'll just be drinking some water. My throat's getting kind of dry. Oh wait, oh wait, yeah, I could literally just... I could just start a poll. Okay, so option 1, 2, or 3. But yeah, while we wait for a sec. While we wait for a sec, I'm liking this so far. I'm liking it so far. It does also help explain what Chiki's deal in Melty Blood is. Like, I think Alco called it Mystic Eyes of Death Perception. Eh. Huh. Sorry, I see some... Huh. The YouTube dashboard is saying that... someone... put something in chat, but... Hang on, I'm gonna have to... Huh. Okay, yeah, okay, it said someone said something in chat, but... Like on, the chat rate thing? Okay. But... Yeah, actually... I think I might just roll a die here, because I can't really think of which one in particular to take. Actually, yeah, you know what? Let's take the opportunity to admire what's in front. I can't help but be intrigued. My eyes drop from the bag on her shoulder down to her legs. Oh my gosh! I mean, those legs... They're amazing, absolute perfect. Oh my gosh. Never before I've seen such beauty and such harmony. To find their sprinter legs. Rumor has it that CL set a new school record outside of the track team during the fitness test the other day. His legs ran 100 meters in 13 seconds. You're more valuable than Taya.
ですね、顔が近いというか、その持ち上げた手の動きがですね。
Oh my gosh.
すみません、今真剣な話をしているところなので。
はあ、真剣ですか。
Oh my gosh. I made a mistake.
いえ、でもですね、何が真剣なのかさっぱり話が見えないというか。
そりゃそうです。
I just want to express how it feels to be captivated by such beauty. Some claim that true beauty cannot be expressed in words, but is it not defeatist to suggest that something beautiful cannot be called what it is? Will the day ever come when humanity transcends its myriad biases and prejudices to put to words the true nature of... He fully deserved getting bonked for that.
トーノク、大丈夫ですか？今、頭に何か当たりましたけど。
はい。
She absolutely just smacked him in the head for that, and he absolutely deserved it for being a weirdo. Ignoring my throbbing head, I picked up the object that has fallen onto the seat. It's a shiny, metallic object that fits perfectly in the palm of my hand. That is to say, it's a phone.
すみません。こちらに何か飛んできませんでしたか？
Wait, who's that?
これかな。ちょっとすごい角度で飛んできたけど振り回して遊ぶアプリでも入ってたの。
バカじゃないですか。ありがとうございます。
Actually, hang on. You know what? Since we can do that, I'm just gonna go ahead and just go back in time and let Shiki be a normal person. Question pops into my mind. Why is she on the train so early?
でもどうしたんですか？先輩部活やってませんよね。
いえ、何を隠そうボランティア活動の帰りなんです。ほら、生徒会公募で公園のゴミ拾いがあったでしょ。あれをちゃちゃっと先ほどまで。
Ah, now it all makes sense. Ciel's always running around helping out somebody or another.
早朝から30分だけの奉仕活動だったんですけどね。他の皆さんは一旦帰宅したんですが、私は面倒なのでこのまま登校してしまおうかと。
You know what? That's a fair point. That's fair. Her bag clatters. I had assumed it was full of equipment, but it must be cleaning stuff.
おや、中身見たいんですか？先輩の持ち物をチェックするなんておとなしそうに見えて大胆ですね。
She draws closer and looks into my eyes. Her face is so close to mine that I can smell her. Flustered, I can't figure out where to look.
いえ、そういうわけじゃなくてですね。もし折りたたみ式のほうきとか熊手とかなら珍しいなと。
ほうほう。私の万能高枝切りばさみも見たいと。
Multi-purposed head shears.
よろしい。それでしたら放課後いつもの茶道部に来てください。
Faced with such a heartfelt smile, I end up blushing. I'd like to say something clever or witty, but all I can manage is a simple yes.
約束ですよ。ここだけの話、部費で購入したお茶受けが余ってしまいまして、日持ちするものではないので、元気な男の子の協力が不可欠なんです。
そうですか。じゃあ予定が合えばぜひ。食べ物に釣られていくとか猫かって話ですけど。
Ciel's warm smile makes me feel comfortable enough to crack a joke. She adjusts the green ribbon around her neck.
どちらかというと、ワンちゃんではないでしょうか。というか、猫科はよくありません。最後まで頼りになるのは、律儀で頭のいい犬科です。
I just like cats, really. Smart, sincere, and loyal to me. For reasons I don't quite understand, she seems to feel strongly about this. As we're both heading to the same place, we continue to chat, talk about last week's midterms, and wonder why the sports festival has been reduced to a one-day event. We complain about the cafeteria always serving the same things. After getting into heated discussion about the plan to restrict phones at school, we tire each other out, sigh in unison, and change the subject. We laugh as we trade opinions on the movies we've seen recently. 15 minutes go by in a flash. It's easy talking with her. She is, after all, incredibly popular among everybody. I don't want this to end, but we only have a few minutes left before we get to Soya Station. I try to bring something else to talk about, but
ちょっとうるさいんですけど。
we've forgotten where we are. Ciel and I bow our heads in apology. Wonder who she is.
怒られちゃいましたね。
ごめん、私の笑い声が大きかったんです。聞いた？
With that, our conversation comes to a halt. The friendly cheer that filled the air just moments ago has vanished. It's quickly replaced by that familiar city silence, that cold space in which everyone is a stranger. The train pulls into Soya Station. It's just before 7 a.m. Left for school a bit early today, so the town hasn't quite woken up yet. It's quiet right now, but in about an hour it'll be bustling with traffic and commuters.
今朝も交通量が少なめですね。最近街の目覚めが遅い気がします。皆さん夜更かしなんでしょうかね。
As Ciel shares this odd observation, I notice how heavy her bag looks.
荷物学校まで持っていきましょうか。
ああ、いえ、お気になさらず。私は言っていくところがありますので、ここでお別れですね。
She smiles a goodbye and waves as she runs off. Her lithe legs carry her so swiftly I almost expect a comical whoosh. Now that we're outdone, I feel an urge to start running too, but there's really no reason for me to hurry. Probably shouldn't be running anyway, considering my condition. I start walking towards school at my usual pace, but just as I set off, a girl from before emerges from the ticket gates. She passes by briskly, slowing only to share a few choice words.
見かけ通り軽薄なんですね。うんざりしました。
Rude. With that, she stalks away. Struck dumb by the rudeness. It seems I've made an enemy. Should be careful the next time I have a conversation on a train. Guess I said something that upsets her. Even so. It was a regular hit-and-run scolding. Was she a middle schooler? She kind of looked the same age as Shiki and CL. I don't know. With this art style, it's kind of hard to tell how... Like, I like the art style, but it's kind of hard to tell a character's age. Like, Aoko, at this point, at the point she showed up, I'm pretty sure would have been... Wait, she was born in 72, so... If that was 7... That would have been in 2009. She would have been 37. And she looked not a day older than... Or not a day older than... Well, 17. So, yeah. Kind of hard to tell with age with this art style. I make my way to school. My steps heavier than usual. It's just about 7 when the main entrance to the school comes into view. I like the soundtrack for this game. Students hurry through the gate to go to their club activities. They must be trying to make the most of their time before homeroom starts at 8. Soya Municipal High School, an old school celebrating 40 years since its founding. Our college admission rate isn't bad, our clubs do fine, and the rules aren't particularly strict. It's as normal a school as you can find. The only complaint male students have is that their uniforms are too old-fashioned, but the school doesn't pay much attention to it. As for the girls, their uniforms were changed 3 years ago. Apparently, the school was worried that keeping the older sailor uniforms would lead to a drop in enrollment. Actually, yeah, I do remember reading something that Japanese high schools had started replacing the older, like, Seifuku uniforms. Something feels out of place in my usual walk to the school. Things feel busier than usual. Pale-faced teachers rush to the faculty room. A black car I've never seen before is parked in the parking lot. Sorry, my legs were falling asleep for a sec. There's a chill in the air. Image flashed through my mind. Sparsely attended funeral. Old black of a hearse. I sigh at my own dark thoughts. Trying to shake off the uneasy feeling growing inside me, I head for the classroom. There's no one else here yet. I sit in my chair and kill time until homeroom begins. More people begin to fill the room as I get in some studying.
やっば、俺サボったかも。
Students of 2C get along well compared to the other classes. We're pretty casual with each other before taking our seats. I catch up with the classmates who have just ended their club activities. Go through your typical laundry list of things from last night's ancient news to stuff that happened just minutes ago at school. We're just talking to pass the time, but this is an important learning ritual of ours. Warm-up exercise to start off the day. We'd only tire ourselves out if we tried to have real conversations about everything, especially in this age of information. The mood in the classroom changes suddenly. Lively chatter dies down to a whisper. Rude remarks you wouldn't expect to hear from among this otherwise harmonious bunch cut through the tranquility. I don't even need to turn around to know who it is. Only one person could do this to a room.
Cheese! Good morning, Mexican!
What? Sup for? Okay, I'm pretty sure that actually is a proper translation because I heard she or for and me.
今朝も新規採用しやがって。またたくクソみたいな野郎ですね。
I like this guy immediately. He's completely obnoxious. Yep, only him. Delinquent with little respect for the sanctity of our school.
おい、挨拶どうした？人が珍しく朝から来てやってんのに、おはようの言葉もなしですか？むしろ朝からいてくれてありがとうぐらいの気持ちはないのですか？
ないよ。朝から濃い顔見てげんなりしてるだけ。
Average male friendship.
そもそもありがとうとかないし、お前のためが学校に来てるわけじゃないし。何？バカ言うなよ。俺はトロノのために学校に来てるんだぞ。そんなの不公正じゃんか。
I'm at a loss for words. Sometimes I wonder why we're even friends. He has a dyed head of orange hair and piercing in his ears. Sporting a perpetual scowl that's practically begging for a fight, he seems to follow the delinquent dress code to a T. Though his brand of counterculture may be a little out of style, he still looks the part of a good punk. His name? Arihiko Inui.
まあいいか。朝から教室に来るのはいいことだ。おはよう、アリヒコ。ついに出席日数を気にしだしたか？
いや、そこは別に気にしない。まだまだ余裕はありますよ。今日は家に姉貴がいるんでサボれなくなっただけ。つうか朝まで鉄難してたんでいい加減体力の限界だ。
I was playing mahjong all night. Okay, I can relate to that. Given that when I first started playing like Mahjong Soul, I stayed up till like 3 in the morning playing it and I was miserable the next day.
そうか、すまない。挨拶をやり直させてくれ。おやすみ、クズヒコ。机に急げ。さっさと寝ろ。
何その冷めた反応。それが中学からのライバルに対する態度ですか？もっとこう熱い対応してくれませんかね？
イバルな。無軌道に行きたいんなら街で同行の死を見つけてろよ。あんまり構わないで。
Okay, yeah. He does still owe me a bunch of money. I lent him back in middle school. Makes him more of a moocher than a rival. I think Shiki sounds like he's being a little too harsh today.
どうのってば俺にだけ冷たいよな。他の奴らには成人君主みたいなやつなのに不公平じゃね？
なんだ、分かってるじゃないか。世の中公平なことってあんまりないだろ。
そりゃそうだけどよ。やっぱお前俺には特に冷たくね？
Arihiko lets out an exaggerated sigh. I don't mean to treat him in any certain way. Everything just naturally ended up this way after years of, I guess, unfiltered treatment. We may have completely different interests and tastes, but we seem to operate on a similar wavelength.
家から逃げてきたはいいとして、普段から夜型のお前が朝から出席するなんてどんな風の吹き回しだ。ちょっといや、かなり普通じゃないぞ。
まあな、たまたま目が覚めたからって来るもんじゃねえよな、学校ってやつは。ぶっちゃけもう帰りてえ。ああ、やっぱ学生には勉強する意思とか必要なんですかね。
He's not wrong, but when he says it like that, it almost sounds like he wants an award just for making the trip to school.
そのあたりの議論は今度暇な時に鏡に向けてやってくれ。俺が聞きたいのはなんで街に行かないかってこと。カラオケでも漫画喫茶でも時間潰すならそっちの方がいいんじゃない？
そりゃあれだよ。最近は何かと物騒だからですよ。荒ごとこなすのもただじゃねえし、あっちには体力ある時しか顔出したくねえわけ。
物騒？
おお、どうのだって知ってんだろ。派手に出回ってる通り魔事件の話だよ。駅前のセンター街、夜になると警官も巡回しているしな。
Serial killer?
そんな話もあったっけ？
Huh. Hearing Arihiko talk about it reminds me. Goings on in Soya hadn't bothered me while I was living several stations away with the Arima family. It was all over the news. I seem to remember.
なんだっけ？
Seem to remember.
すごく低俗な売り文句だったけど。深夜の通り魔事件だっけ？
連続猟奇殺人事件な。被害者は大抵若い女で2日前に発見された仏さんで8人目。かつ全員の喉元にバツの字の傷跡があるとかないとか。
Weird. My mind can't even picture someone like
違う
that.
よ、乾君。殺されちゃった人はみんな体内の血液が著しく失われているんだよ。
Oh. Huh. Yumizuka pokes her head out and corrects us, likely drawn by how loud we are.
ああ、そうだったそうだった。現代の吸血鬼かっていう見出しだったもんな、あれ。
Modern day vampire.
サンキュー、ユミズカ。おはようさん。
乾君もおはよう。ついでに言うと外傷には個人差があって、傷が全くない場合と損傷の激しいタイプに分かれてるだったかな。
詳しいんだね、弓塚さん。
そんなこの町で起きている事件なんだもん。ニュースを見てれば嫌でも覚えちゃうことだと思う。
とま、そういうことだよ、トの。いくら俺でもな、夜中に殺人犯が出歩いているうちは夜遊びなんかしねえっての。最近は真面目に家の中で夜更かししてるわけ。
なんだ、そんな理由だったのか。まともすぎて逆に意外だ。殺人犯に怯えて家にこもるなんてお前らしくもない。
らしくないじゃねえよ。普通は殺人犯に怯えるだろう。こっちはやる気がねえのに、あっちだけやる気満々とか不意打ちにも程がある。絶対にごめんでね。俺はまだ人生棒に振りたくねえ。
ああ、そっか。そうだよな。狙われたらとことんまで付き合うしかないってことだもんな。
お前ね、そこは逃げるって選択肢はねえの？なんでとことんまで付き合うんだよ。
だって逃げられないんじゃないのか、そういう場合って。
遠野に振った俺がアホだった。実際の話、俺も殺人犯は気にしてね。ああいうのはほら天才だろ。出会っちまう方に運がない。俺が街に出ないのはもっと現実的な理由でさ、最近北口駅前で新手のバカどもが湧いてんだよ。正直顔も見たくねえ。
North exit, located on the opposite side of the station from the business district, is downtown Soya. Bustling hub that never sleeps. Arihiko lives on the north side of the station himself. These fools must be pretty bad if he's going to such lengths to avoid them.
どうのも聞いたことねえか？度胸試しのようなもの。秘密の入り口から地下道に入って奥までつければ大金が手に入るってやつ。
それなら私も聞いたことあるけど、それってただの階段じゃなかった？
Sounds like a great way to get yourself killed.
ああ、結構昔からある都市伝説だったらしい。それを儲け話っぽく仕立てて利用してるバカどもがいるんだよ。どっから流れてきた新参者か知んねえが、おかげで北口の空気の悪さはシャレにならねえ。俺基本的に痛いの嫌だし、あんだけ派手にやってればポリも動くだろうし、連中が捕まるまでしばらく自重して家にこもってんのよ。
An urban legend on the north side of the station. Guess I hadn't heard of it since I didn't live nearby. Though I suppose it'll be my problem too, starting today.
なんだよ、反応薄いな。さてはあれか？朝から貧血でぶっ倒れたのか？
いや、今朝はまだ大丈夫。心配してくれるのはありがたいんだけどね。そう四六時中貧血を起こしてから体が持たないよ。
ああ、そりゃもっともだ。遠野が大丈夫だって言うんならまあ大丈夫なんだろうよ。
ほら、授業が始まるぞ。早く席に戻ってねよ。
はいよ。そう今日の昼飯な、食堂でするからな。驚きの特別ゲストをお呼びしているので楽しみにしてやがれ。
Very special guest. Who is it? Your mother? Arihiko laughs suspiciously as he saunters back to his seat.
それじゃあね、遠野くん。
弓塚さんも付き合わせて悪かったね。
She walks back to her desk, her footsteps light as a feather. Five minutes after the bell of her homeroom, her teacher still hasn't appeared. Just as homeroom is about to end, the teacher next door drops by and tells her that Miss Toyama won't be coming today. Someone sounds like they just won the lottery. Who won the lottery? I did. Miss Toyama is our math teacher. If they're absent, we'll have free study instead. Once you finish the worksheet you're free to spend the rest of the time however you want. Some use the time to study, but others just kill time. Start on my worksheet. I actually have no problem with studying. I quit going to after-school lessons as a child, but that was after I was told getting into a good school would be impossible for someone with my condition. Whether you choose to go to college or straight into the workforce, knowledge is never a bad thing to have. Very true, Shiki. I raise my head after solving a few problems and look over to the students near the hallway. I can only hear bits and pieces of their conversations, sitting as far away from them as I can.
朝練の時、先生たちの結相会の職員室に。
まだ噂だから。
でもそんな簡単に。
Wait, was their teacher the last, victim?
ひどいよ。なんでそんなことに。
Ew. Something certainly feels wrong, I think, knitting my eyebrows.
昨日の事件。
校長室に刑事っぽい二人組が。
Brace myself for what's coming. As familiar as I am with this feeling, I find myself not wanting to accept it. I hold my breath in anticipation for the words to come.
だからさ、富山。昨日死んだらしいよ。
Close my eyes, trying to hold back a headache. The morning passes without the rumor about Miss Toyama spreading much further. The classroom is a mess now that it's lunch. Some go to the cafeteria, others to the courtyard. While still others stay in the room and open their lunches at their desk. What should I do for lunch? Yeah, let's just go into the hallway. Hallways are mess activity during lunch. Most people are heading to the cafeteria, but some are carrying lunch boxes, likely on their way to a friend's classroom, courtyard, or the gym. I merge with the crowd, wondering if I should get a proper meal at the cafeteria or just buy something by the school store. When... Hey, CL! Catch a glimpse of CL further down the hall. I'd probably imagine it, but it looks like she's heading straight for me. She's coming right for us!
教室にお邪魔する手間が省けちゃいました。
それはどうも。こんにちは、シエル先輩。
This lackluster greeting is all I can muster. For some reason, I suddenly feel very shy.
はい、こんにちはです。でも私たち、今日はもう会っていますから、こんにちはというのは正しくないですね。
そういえばそうでした。
I sheepishly avert my gaze. There's something wrong with me? Never had a problem talking to CL before, but I feel really self-conscious right now. Because of what happened this morning?
トナナ君？どことなく落ち着きがありませんけど、何か急用でもあるんですか？
いえ、急ぎの。
There's no way I could tell the real reason, because I'm fixated on her every move.
それより先輩、俺を探していたって何か用ですか？
はい、朝ちょっとしたご迷惑をかけてしまったでしょ。そのお詫びがしたくてずっと探していたんです。
朝の迷惑って。ああ、電車の話？でもあれは迷惑というより役得というか。
I had a lot of fun talking to CL. Her to keep me company, the train ride flew by in no time.
でもうるさくしすぎて女の子に怒られたじゃないですか。そのお詫びです。つかのことをお聞きしますけど、ノノ君はこれからお昼ご飯ですか？
ですよ。食堂に行くか購買で済ませるか迷っていたところです。
よかった。それならご一緒できますね。朝のお詫びにおごっちゃいますから、これから食堂に行きましょう。
With a smile, CL grabs my arm and whisks me away. Rare for a third year to be where all the second year rooms are in the first place, so this only sends even more looks our way. I can feel everyone's eyes on us.
ちょっと待ってください。朝のあれは俺だって悪いんだから、先輩が謝ることでもありません。むしろ逆です。謝るならこっちです。
Tear myself away. My face must have been beet red.
おお、それは聞き捨てなりませんね。謝るべきは遠野くんの方だったと。つまりその罰として遠野くんは私のお願いを一つ聞いてくれるとか。あり。
As I feel CL's gaze teasing me, my cheeks burn even hotter.
いや、今のは言葉のあやでですね。
では観念して私を食堂に連れて行ってください。今日は誰かとランチしたい気分だったんです。 運が悪かったと思って私におごられてください。
That's just cheap. There's no way anyone can say no to a smile like that.
おごられててそれも逆ですよ先輩。
だって私が楽しかったのは本当ですから。それでは食堂に急ぎましょう。早くしないと席が埋まっちゃいますからね。
Theo takes my hand again and leads me down the hallway at a brisk pace. Perfect time. The tables are wide open. The sizable line stretches from the counter. I guess it's about a 5-minute wait.
私が並びますから、遠野くんは席を確保しておいてください。嫌いなメニューはありますか？あるのでしたら今のうちに聞いておきますけど。
いえ、ないです。食べ物に好き嫌いはありません。
大変結構な返答です。
I'm not a very picky eater either. Actually, one of the only things I just won't eat by itself is like pickles. I can have like a pickle on a burger or on a chicken sandwich or something, but I just hate the taste of pickles. Like, I just hate the taste of pickles by themselves. Every time I get like I get something from like Firehouse and it comes with like a pickle, I immediately just get rid of the pickle because I can't stand them.
それではパパッと行ってきますね。
But yeah, aside from that, I'm not a picky eater either. Without waiting for a response, CL trots away to get in line. I guess this is an offer I can't refuse.
2人分の空席できるのかカードが。
I'm still not sure if I'm mentally prepared for lunch with CL. Head somewhere quiet and out of the way might make it less daunting. Scan the cafeteria. There are a few empty seats in the middle, but all the corner tables have already been claimed. There might not be any corner seats left for two at this. Seats I spotted have just been taken by someone with a familiar face. The orange-haired delinquent waves an arm at me. Paying no attention at all to all the looks he's getting. I feel a migraine coming on. I had a migraine earlier today. I hate migraines. Like, whenever I get a migraine, I always get, like, ocular migraines. And I know a migraine is coming on mostly from, like, when I get a migraine, I start losing a bit of sight in my right eye. Like it feels like there's only like a pinprick I can actually see out of. And then a little bit later, the actual migraine starts. Ugh. I hate migraines so much. I'm just glad I had a day off today so that I could just like take some ibuprofen and then pass out. Because if I didn't have the day off, I would have had to deal with that. Yeah, migraines suck. Still, I'm not mean enough to ignore him outright. All the other corner seats are taken anyway. In a way, he is a people repellent. As his friend, it's my right to abuse that ability to its fullest.
おっせえ今日は特別ゲストが来るって言ってなかったかのんびり重役出勤してんじゃねえですよ
ああ、そういえばそんなこと言ってたって。で、その特別ゲストはどこに？
It's CL, isn't it?
それがな昨日からスケジュールを抑えていたつもりに今朝になって断られた
It's CL.
お詫びをしたい人がいるから今日の昼食は忙しいです
Arihiko's shoulders sag in disappointment as he slurps his chikara udon.
お詫びを
Those words sound all too familiar.
特別ゲストってもしかして3年生 メガネの似合うショートカットで元気よく動き回って、それでいて頼れる空気出しまくり。
なんだそれ。いつから俺の頭を盗んだ。
いや、そういうわけじゃなくてさ、その。
お待たせしました。こちらの席でよろしいですか、遠野くん。
CL appears next to our table with a radiant smile. She's carrying a lunch tray loaded with food for two.
なんと。
乾くん、奇遇ですね。
CL takes a seat without missing a beat. She sits down in front of me, next to Arihiko. Arihiko starts sputtering like a dying engine. Maybe he's in shock due to the sudden stroke of luck. I get it. I was in the same way not too long
遠
ago.
野くんもどうぞ。今日は遠慮せずにお腹をいっぱいにしてください。
There's no way I could say no to that smile. I give in and take the seat across from CL.
それじゃあ、ありがたくいただきます。
Clapping my hands together in thanks, I look down at the tray she brought. Dishes are lined up before me. Curry with rice, and curry udon. It seems like CL likes udon or likes curry. I mean, I don't blame her because curry is absolutely delicious. Curry is delicious. I can make a mean plate of curry rice. I'm confused.
先輩。
何ですか、遠野くん。
いや、これどういうことでしょうか。
だって遠野くんと私のお昼ご飯じゃないですか。他に何に見えます？
何ってカレーにしか見えないけど。
Why are you complaining, Shiki? Shiki, why are you complaining? Like curry is delicious.
もちろんみんな大好き定番のカレーですよ。
Hang on. She's not wrong. The problem is that there's nothing but curry. Wait, a flowchart? Huh. Ooh, hey. This will make things way easier to navigate.
メニュー3つありますね。
Okay, where's... Okay. I love her smug expression. Yeah, I was trying to find the hide text option. Because I'm using just one Joy-Con for this. But yeah.
もちろんです。遠野くんは男の子なんですから、いっぱい食べてもらわないと。私は一品でいいですから、どうぞお好きなものを選んでください。
I can make do with one portion.
それじゃあカレーライスとカレーうどんで。
Otherwise, I'd just be eating two helpings of the same thing.
残さず食べてくださいね。遠野くん、好き嫌いないんですから。
I don't see an ounce of malice in CL's smile. This isn't a joke or a prank. She's actually doing this out of the goodness of her heart.
いただきます。
With no other choice, I dig my spoon into the curry. As soon as I do... What is that face? I thought Arihiko stole it, left his body for good, but he springs back to
お前
life.
さんね、いつまで無理の親友を無視してるわけ？あれだろ一言。じゃあ常に生きていてありがとう乾君。ところで今日は素敵な先輩を紹介するよ。おっと僕は忙しいのでそろそろ校舎裏に行く。あとは二人でご歓談の歩道とかいろいろさ。あと余ってるならそのカレーうどんちょうだいね。
やらないよ。でも常に生きていてご苦労様、乾君。
He really just wants to go out with CL. Arihiko's arm shoots forward. I definitely guard my curry udon from his thieving hand.
乾君、遠野君とお知り合いなんですか？
何言ってんすか。知り合いも知り合い。中学時代からの大親友ですよ俺たちは。
Probably one of the few things he'll say with absolute sincerity.
そうだったんですか。ごめんなさい、約束を保護してしまって。そのですね、私が今朝ご迷惑をかけてしまったのが遠野くんなんです。
いいっす。筋の通った理由っすから。というか名前さえ教えてくれたらこっちから遠野を連れ出したっすよ。でこいつどんだけひどいことをやらかしたんですか？
早朝の電車でばったり会って、そのままおしゃべりしていたら他の乗客さんに注意されちゃいました。ダメですね。周囲の迷惑も考えないと。遠野くんは悪くないのに私の代わりに怒られてくれたんです。
はあ、早朝の電車っすか。食べるなんて人の自由ですけどね。あ、早朝？遠野はわかるとして先輩電車通学だったっけ？
今朝はボランティアの帰りです。公園のゴミ拾いですね。ほら、学校の掲示板でもあったでしょ。生徒は自主的に参加するようにって。
ああ、海浜公園もあれか。さすが先輩、ご苦労様です。でもそういうことするから教師連中が当てにするんですよ。先行どもは好きあらばサボりやがるんだから、あんまり調子に乗らせないでほしいんですけどね。
いいんです。私が好きでやってるんですから。それに先生方もきちんと学校のことを考えてくれています。今の物言いは感心できませんよ、乾君。
Theo bluntly shuts Arihiko down. From what I can tell, it seems like Arihiko and CL are on pretty good terms.
先輩、もしかして毎日ボランティアをやってるんですか？
なんだとも知らないのか？シエル先輩と言ったら真の生徒会長って呼ばれてるぐらい便利な人でだな。
知ってる。肩書きだけの生徒会と違って何でも解決してくれる完璧な3年生だろ。
おう、1年じゃファンクラブまであるし、教師連中も厄介事が起こるとシエルに相談すれば安心だなんてのれんに腕押し状態だからな。今じゃ先輩が何をしたって文句を言う教師もいないぐらいだ。
The way Arihiko is bragging, he almost sounds personally
ファン
proud.
クラブまでは知らなかった。すごい人だったんだ、シエル先輩って。うちの教師連中に頼りにされるなんてよっぽどのことだよ、それ。
Look at her and wonder.
はい、ありがとうございます。
Adorable. CL's spoon clinks against the plate as she stirs her curry. For a moment, I worry that we've embarrassed her, but then I'm reminded of the pressing issue before me. I have my own curry to eat, not to mention a full bowl of curry udon. My doctor says I shouldn't overeat, but I'll feel guilty if I don't eat everything CL got for me. I'd better wolf down the curry before I start to feel full. Meanwhile, CL and Arihiko talk about their families. I knew that Arihiko's parents are no longer with us, but I didn't know CL lived by herself too. Apparently her apartment's fairly close to Soya Station. She lives past the business district by the south exit rather than near the shopping district by the north, in a residential area that spreads eastward.
ところで遠野くんはどのあたりに住んでるんですか？
はい。
I'm quietly eating my curry when CL suddenly turns the conversation to me.
どのあたりと言われると、その返答に困るというか。
Since my place of residence changes today, explaining my situation would be a bit awkward. I wish I could brush it off and just give some vague general answer, but it's impossible for me to lie when she's looking me right in the eyes.
質問で先輩はなんで俺なんかの家を知りたがるんです？
だって遠野くん、私のアパートの場所を聞いちゃいましたよね。なのに私だけ遠野くんのお家を知らないのは不公平だなって。変ですか？
まあちょっと変です。不公平だなんて妙なことを気にするんですね、先輩は。
どこに住んでいるかわからないんじゃ、何かあった時お見舞いにも行けないじゃないですか。
My mouth stops mid-chew. Ciel's offhanded question gives me a sudden thrill.
お見舞いって例えばの話、俺が風邪でもひいたら見舞いに来てくれるとか。
いえ、行きませんよ。今のところそんな予定はありませんから。
The joy I felt a moment ago was evidently premature. Although I don't think Ciel meant anything bad by what she said. She must just be naturally
俺の家もこの町ですよ。徒歩にして30分弱。ほら、北口から郊外に上がると坂の上に住宅地があるでしょ。
ああ、そうだった。今日から引っ越すんだっけ、お前。
Sudden Arihiko. Arihiko jumps in as if spotting his chance. Ciel cocks her head quizzically.
引っ越したですか？遠野くん転校生だったんですか？
One odd thing for Ciel to ask. Arihiko and I wordlessly glance at each other.
ですね。俺は1年からこの学校にいるし、先輩ともその頃から顔見知りだったじゃないですか。
Ciel must have just wormed herself in or something.
なんだってそこで。
だって遠野くん引っ越したって。
引っ越したら誰だって転校生になるわけじゃありません。今までは親戚の家にいたんですけど、今日から元の家に戻るだけなんですよ。
Ciel's strange confusion seems to clear up.
お家が変わっただけなんですね。それで今は郊外の住宅地に引っ越したと。
そう、坂の上にある仰々しいところに。
なるほど、合点がいきました。じゃあもしかして遠野くんのお家というのは遠野邸のことですか？
I sense some hesitation in Ciel's voice. People Soya proper probably look at the giant house on the hill with a kind of reverence. It's been 7 years since I was last there, but in my memories, the Tono mansion felt as big as a
そ
castle.
ういうことです。自分でも間違いだとは思ってるんですけど、引っ越しちまったものはしょうがないから。
その様子じゃあんまり乗り気じゃなかったのか。自分の家って言っても7年ぶりならしょうがないか。しばらくは他人の家みたいに感じるんじゃないか。
どうだろう。まだ帰ってないからよくはわからない。まあ、俺にはお前の家っていう避難場所があるから気は楽だけど。
なんですかそれ。ざっきゅんな。俺んちはお前のビバークポイントじゃねえですよ。休みになりゃ泊まりに来やがって。おかげで姉貴は俺より友達の遠野くんびいきになっちまって年々小遣い減ってるんですけど。
I'm guessing that's more on Arihiko, but I keep that to myself. I don't want the conversation to turn sour. To be honest, the Tono family isn't something I feel comfortable talking about.
へえ、仲がいいんですね、2人とも。
よくね、俺とトーノは奪い合うことはあっても手を取り合うことはない。いわば敵同士っすよ、マドモアゼル。
Wait, he actually just straight up says Mademoiselle? Like, legit, I thought that was just... I thought he was going to say something like Ojo-sama, or something, or Hime-sama, or something like that. I didn't expect him to just straight up say Mademoiselle.
でも遠野くんは乾くんのお家に泊まるぐらいなんでしょ。仲すごくいいじゃないですか。
違いますよ先輩。遠野は長い休みになると家に居づらいってんで逃げてきただけです。この野郎、預けられたことで有馬の人たちに遠慮してんの。で、部屋が空いてる俺のところに転がり込んでくるってわけ。こいつは外見がいいから姉貴にも気に入られちまってさ、厚かましくも手ぶらで泊まりに来るんだぜ。
Arihiko clenches his fist in anger. I never knew that bothered him so much. I have to bring him something the next time I go over.
預けられたって遠野くんにですか。
Oh. Oh, hell. Oh, hey, Joe. I think if you're still here, I think your chat just didn't show up for a while, unless you just posted that. Because I also just got the poll in the chat also just finally showed up. So, yes, sorry. The chat's being weird tonight. Arihiko claps his hand around his mouth, or over his mouth. He laughs awkwardly, seeming to realize he said too much.
気にするなよ。別に悪いことじゃないんだから。
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. Well, it's nice to have you here. Yeah, we got through the prologue and still in chapter 1. Once this chapter ends, I think I'm gonna call it for the night. Because if this is even, I know this game is longer than Mahoyo. Oh, it's pretty good so far. Okay, yeah, it's pretty good so far. Like, it's pretty standard visual novel, but unlike Mahoyo, which had no choice at all, this one has, from what I could tell, a bunch of different choices, and I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of choices that'll wind up getting me absolutely destroyed, absolutely killed. And also, there's a rewind feature. Pretty good so far. You can... it's like $40 if you get it off like the Switch eShop or the PlayStation Store. I tried to get a hard copy at first, but then I realized that the hard copy was like $70, and I'm like... Yeah. Oh no, I can make it through eventually. I'm gonna try to do this without any kind of guide. So I'm basically just gonna be blindly stumbling through and getting multiple, like, bad ends before I eventually make it through. I continue eating, keeping my eyes on my curry. Oh, and you missed the fact that CL, the girl here, had just gotten say, and effectively made us eat a full bowl of curry udon and an entire thing of like curry rice.
そっか。まあそうだよな。あれで文句を言ったら罰が当たるってもんか。
Hiko nods emphatically. Part of me admires the way he can turn and fire back at anything.
ごめんなさい、遠野くん。
Oh yeah. Yeah, visual novels are, visual novels, like, they are a niche thing. They are a niche thing. But I honestly, I do enjoy a good visual novel every now and then, mostly because it's just something I can kind of relax to. Like, I don't have to focus on strict gameplay, just get to read, look at the art, and occasionally make a choice. Actually, I think the first visual novel I ever played was Ace Attorney. I need to replay that. Yeah, I need to replay Ace Attorney at some point. Yeah, there are a couple other VNs that I'm thinking of picking up at some point, or like streaming at some point. But but I should probably make it through at least one round of Tsukihime before I go for any other visual novel.
いや、そんなことはないっすよ。こいつ有馬の親御さんとは何の問題もないもんな。みんな超いい人たち。いや、有馬の親父さんは割と怖いけど。だって言うのに、こいつは養子にならないかって話も断って、休みになれば俺のところに逃げてきやがるんだ。本当に何が不満なんだお前は。
Huh, Desolate Hope? What kind of game? Oh, I'll need to check that out. Actually, I can just go on the old Google real quick. Ooh, hey, this looks pretty. Wait, it's made. Wait, it's made by Scott Cawthon. Huh. I need to check it out. Looks pretty interesting. Wait, double sound? Okay, Okay. I didn't realize this until... Okay, so what happened was Oh, yeah. Okay, so I figured out what the double sound issue was. Okay, it is... Okay, to be fair, I do hear people say it like Scott Cawthon, not like Scott Cawthon. Like, I've heard it pronounced like that a lot, so it's an easy mistake to make. But yeah, I figured out the mistake that I made earlier in the stream. Like when I was setting things up, it wasn't like the OBS, like the thing I'm using for my to like connect my Switch to OBS, my capture card. Originally, OBS didn't show that it was picking up the audio from like video capture device. So I just put in an audio capture device in the mixer, and I didn't realize until now that it started picking up the music and the voices and from the actual like original part of the mixer. So sorry about that. I've now muted the audio capture.
不満なんかあるわけないだろう。よくしてもらってるから、これ以上負担をかけたくないだけだ。
Yeah, OBS is kind of a pain to deal with. I mean, it's free, so it's like free, and I've eventually managed to bubble my way around to knowing how to use it. But yeah, it can be really obtuse. I finished eating my curry. Next up, an entire bowl of curry udon, just for me. But Seal looks upset.
ごめん、シエル先輩。つまらない話だった。
Yeah, it's probably a little... It probably... Yeah, yeah, that's what I mentioned earlier. He's, yeah, CL here... Okay, so they earlier... So, Shiki and CL earlier were talking on the train accidentally got scolded by someone, and then got scolded by someone for being too loud. And CL approached, and after I made a slight choice earlier, CL approached Tono, Shiki, and basically as kindly and sweetly as possible managed to coerce him into going to lunch with her as her way of apologizing for causing trouble. And this resulted in Shiki getting like, basically being put in the situation of, I don't want to overeat, but I can't say no to a smile like CL's. So yeah, she basically got him to eat like 2 full plates of food. And honestly, I've got a big stomach, and I got a good that was a weird way of phrasing it. I've got like a big appetite, but yeah, that would be entirely too much food for lunch. I mean, it'd be tasty because I like curry, but I feel like I'd be getting a little sick of it after having to eat that much.
そんなことないですよ。私の方こそ変なことを聞いてしまってすみません。
CL tries her best to brush it off. It might be fine with Arihiko since we've been friends since middle school, but it seems like this sort of talk is too much for her. In fact, she's fidgeting like she'd rather be anywhere else.
ごめん先輩。俺ちょっと遠野と内緒話があるからさ。席外してもらえない？
I can't believe Arihiko said that. Wait. In a roundabout way, no, in a very straightforward way, he just told CL to mind her own business.
何言ってるんだ。内緒話なんてどこでもできるし、第一先輩はまだ食べ終わって。
Oh. Somehow, despite her talking to Arihiko this whole time, CL has cleaned her plate.
いえいえ、承知していますとも。それでは邪魔者はここで。お先に失礼しますね。
With a quick bob of her head, CL takes off, leaving me and Arihiko alone at the table. Yeah, I think I can only eat that much. Like, I think I'd only be able to eat that much if I'd done a lot of, if it was like dinner after a cardio day, or if I'd been working out a lot. Oh, don't worry about it, man. Yeah, YouTube's chat chat kind of, it can be weird sometimes. Leave me and Arihiko alone at the table.
先輩も居づらそうだったし、俺もこうした方がいいとは思ったけどさ。
Sorry, my
一人じゃないか。
Sorry, my joints are popping for some reason. Alright.
まあさっきのは仕方ねえだろう。口を滑らせたのは俺なんだし、嫌われ役ぐらいはね。
Arihiko noisily slurps up his chikara udon. It must have gone cold while he was focused on his conversation with CL.
先輩のことを狙ってたんだ。
そりゃ俺に限らず誰だって狙ってますよ、シエル先輩。うちの学校じゃピカイチだしね。でもまあ今の流れで気にするような性格だったらどうでもいい。遠野に内緒話があるっていうのも本当のことだし。
Arihiko sounds unusually serious. I break a part of wooden chopsticks with a snap and start on my curry udon.
なんだよ。気持ち悪いな、急に深刻ぶって。また何かやらかしたか？
そんなんじゃねえって。俺が聞きたいのは実際遠野はどうなのかってこと。
どうって何が？
だから遠野は小学生の自分からよそに預けられてたんだろ。どんな理由かは知らないが、それから7年も経つんだ。なんで今になって感動してた息子を呼び戻すんだ、お前さんの父親は。
感動されていたわけじゃない。 なんとなく屋敷から出るように言われただけだ。
遠野くん君ね、なんとなくで子供を家から追い出す過程があったら、それは悲劇じゃなくて笑い話ですよ。ただし、ほら一歩手前、寒すぎて笑えねえけどな。
The truth is, my father and I had been on bad terms long before the car accident and hospitalization. The Tono family is a distinguished household, dating back centuries, with customs very different to those of a regular family. My childhood memories are of an enormous old house and the oppressive, antiquated practices of the family within. The Tono family is wealthy, with shares in a wide variety of companies. My father, Makihisa Tono, wasn't much of a businessman, but the assets he inherited from my grandfather were more than enough to help his businesses make a fortune. A mansion from another era. A high-class lifestyle that valued history and decorum. Any child would have found life in that mansion unbearably dull. So, when I was told to live with the Arimas, I had no qualms about leaving my real family behind. I think it was the best outcome I could have asked for. Got along well with the Arimas. Keiko and Fumiomi treated me no differently than I'd been their child by birth. I'd always wanted to be part of a normal family. Living with the Arimas gave me that opportunity. I don't have any regrets there. With one exception. My sister Akiha. She was a year younger than me, and I left her behind at the Tono Manor. I wonder if Akiha resents me. I mean, why wouldn't she? Left her in that giant, lonesome house with no one for company but that pig-headed old man. Sad boy hours? Yes, that. And from what I could tell, this is a running. Oh, I've seen like the Unlimited Blade Works anime, well, most of it, and yes, I'm pretty sure anything Type Moon related is going to make their protagonists be sad boys. I left her in that giant, lonesome house. No one for company but that pig-headed old man. It's not hard to imagine what Akiha thinks of me. The brother who ran away from it all.
そうだな。確かになんとなくで家から追い出されたら、そりゃ笑うしかない。
So mentioning the Unlimited Blade Works anime reminds me that they apparently put Fate Stay Night on Steam. So another thing that's gonna be in my backlog soon.
だろう？おまけに二度と敷居はまたぐなっていう決め台詞付きだ。世間様ではそういうのを感動って言うんだ。今まで聞かなかったけどな。お前、なんで感動されたんだ？
Yeah, yeah, I'd like to know the answer to that myself.
ま、話したくないならいい。
Arihiko picks up his bowl with both hands and drinks down the broth. Oh, I got so much anime on my backlog. Like I gotta finish Frieren, Dungeon Meshi. I've got like Tonikawa. I gotta finish the Fate State. I gotta finish Unlimited Blade Works. Thankfully, that's only like I only have like 4 episodes left on that. Oh yeah, Iron-Blooded Orphans. Yeah, I remember watching that during the watch along last Saturday. That was, it was really good, like really good, and the OP for it is like really good to listen to when you go running. Lunch always feels so short. I follow Arihiko's example and quickly down the rest of my food. School comes to an end for the day. I look out over the schoolyard from my seat, unable to will myself back to the mansion. Classrooms, dyed a red-orange by the sunset. Looks like a watercolor painting. It makes my eyes throb a little. Something about vermilion that's unsettling. As the hue pierces my eyes, I'm hit with a wave of nausea. I guess I have trouble with anything that reminds me of blood. The reality is, I've grown weak to it. Yeah, I can't wait to see the... Okay, blood splatter. Yeah, I'm excited for the rest of, or for going through the rest of IBO. 7 years ago, I was on the verge of death. I was caught in a terrible accident. Building collapse. My wounds were so severe that most people thought I didn't have a chance. Luckily for me, all my injuries were focused in one place and my doctors were able to get to me fast. It almost feels like it happened to someone else. Thinking back like this, there's a lot I still don't know about it. Something struck my chest with such force that it impaled me. I passed out immediately. Like a machine that had its plug pulled. Oh, there's going to be a lot of death in this. Sorry. But yeah, there's actually... I don't know much about what's going to happen, but I do know that there's going to be a scene, I think second day, that I'm going to have to censor. Because of how... Like, I already saw the CG, and it is gruesome enough. Okay. It's not going to be like Game of Thrones where someone dies every 5 seconds, but it's going to be fairly bloody. But yeah, there's going to be a CG, I think on the second day, that I'm going to have to actually, like... I'm going to have to censor, because there is no way I could get away. Yeah, there's no... First off, it is very gory. Secondly, YouTube would probably have my head if I showed that on stream. All I remember after that is the pain and the cold. When I woke up, I was in a hospital bed. The scar still remains on my chest. From what they told me, not only hit my back hard, but a piece of glass pierced my chest as well. That's how I got the burn-like scars on my chest and back. When I was finally able to look at the wounds, I almost passed out from the sight of them. Ever since then, I've been prone to bouts of anemia. I've caused a lot of trouble for the people around me, collapsing suddenly all the time. I assume that's why Makihisa Tono, my father, decided that I wasn't healthy enough to be his heir. I held down the urge to vomit. I breathed deeply, waiting for the needling in my eyes to subside. A mark of death, hidden under my school uniform. I've been able to see the lines ever since the accident. It's only thanks to the glasses the sensei gave me that I've kept some semblance of a normal life. Without them, I'm sure I would have gone mad a long time ago. Gecko was worried that the Tonos weren't normal when we said goodbye this morning. About? Yeah, I wonder what actually happened. Like, oh, yeah, there was like this little cutscene that plays when you open the game for the first time. But yeah, I'm wondering what exactly happened. Obviously, there's more to it. But there was no need. Reason being, I'm hardly normal myself. I push my glasses back up the bridge of my nose and grab my bag. I can't stay in the classroom forever. My path home is different from the one I took yesterday. It leads me from a compact, middle-class neighborhood to one where large, expensive houses line the street. Every single step brings me closer to the Tono mansion. The area isn't completely unfamiliar to me. It may have been 7 years ago, but I have vague memories of this place from when I was 10. It's a strange feeling. This path feels both new and familiar at the same time. I climb up a long hill. Rows of houses disappear from view. The smell of greenery tickles my nostrils. I may be in the middle of the city, but this place feels anything but modern. Almost everything from here on is owned by the Tono estate. The mansion I lived in until the age of 10. The only things left for me there are old memories and relatives I never got along with. Though now, only one close relative remains in the mansion. Makihisa Tono, the father that hated me so much, passed away the other day. My mother died from an illness the year Akiha was born, so the only Tonos left will be my sister and I. As the eldest son, I would have taken over as the head of the family, but I no longer have that right. Being the Tono heir means a restrictive and cloistered childhood. I don't know how many times I was told off by my father for trying to escape all that. That's why when I was left defective following my accident, he took the opportunity to cast me out. I'm sure he felt that even though I was the eldest, he couldn't leave the family in the hands of someone who could keel over dead at any moment. To my father's surprise, I recovered. But Aki had already been chosen as the next heir of the Tono family. Aki had been raised as the prized daughter of the Tono. But after my accident, she had to endure a harsher education befitting her new station. See ya, show. We played together in the gardens until I was 10. I haven't seen her once since then. And now, it's been 7 years. I wonder how the Tono mansion has changed. I won't have to wonder for much longer. Anything should come to mind now. Oh, it would be... Yeah, probably Akiha. My sister Akiha. Akiha visited me a number of times when I first moved in with the Arimas. I wasn't able to see her because of my daily hospital visits. Once she started staying in the dorms at a girls' welcome back. Once she started staying in the dorms at a girls' academy, we only ever exchanged a few letters. Unlike Akiha, I had been expelled from the family. That's why I was able to live as freely as I have. After 7 years, my sister and I must have very little in common. Honestly, I don't really have any desire to go back to the Tono mansion. Except Aki is there. When we were children, Akiha was a quiet girl who always looked meek and timid. She'd follow me around wherever I went. With the long black hair and fine dresses, she looked like a princess out of a fairy tale locked in some tower and awaiting rescue. I know I have no right to just slip back into being Big Brother now. But I've worried about Akiha these 7 years. She was the first thing I thought of when I learned of Makihisa's death. All alone in that massive house after her father's death. More than anything, I felt responsible because my carefree lifestyle had forced the burden of the Tono family onto her. I think the reason I agreed to return to the manor was to make amends for leaving Akia behind. The main gate is shut tight. I remember thinking it was big when I was a child, but after living in a normal house, I realized just how massive this place is. The mansion sits on a high hill overlooking the city, giving the Tonos a view of all they control. Grounds alone are bigger than my high school. Include the forest behind the manor, it's easily tripled the size. Surrounding the perimeter is a wall of trees, and a long fence preventing outsiders from peering inside. The entrance at the main gate is closed, turning away those who would seek entry. Okay, I will be back in a moment. I need to get more water. My voice is starting to crack. Alright, I'm back. Basically just chugged a bottle. Basically just chugging a bottle or two of water. Next to the massive... Yeah, things are going pretty good. I I don't feel like my voice is on the verge of going hoarse again. I made I made the critical mistake of forgetting how much water I need to drink during visual novel streams, because whenever I was doing the Mahoyo streams earlier this year, they were there was at least once or twice where I went almost to where I pretty much went hoarse. Next to the massive gate for cars to pass through, there's a smaller door for people. It would be very inconvenient. But thankfully I remembered to drink plenty of water. Or at least start drinking water. I hesitate for a moment before pressing the call button. It doesn't make any noise as I push it. After a few seconds, the lock opens with a welcoming click.
ここのドア全自動になったんだ。昔は守衛さんがいたんだけどな。
Yep, hydrate or dihydrate. I open the heavy door and pass through the stone gate. The door gives a satisfying clunk behind me, locking itself again. Make my way along a gently sloped path deeper into the grounds. Walkway, surrounded by tall trees, feels almost like a tunnel. Stretches 40 meters east, then turns at a 90-degree angle to the north. Memories flood back with each step I take. I know this path. Walked it many times. Just a little further. I reach the corner. My feet guide me towards the north, the rest of my body following closely behind. Then, on the left... Oh! Oh, the music is so good! Dono Mansion. Its great white walls standing at attention. A sigh escapes my lips in a combination of wonder and resignation. The mansion looks just like it did back then. According to my father, the building has been the same since my grandfather inherited from his grandfather, though it was replaced. It was repaired once after the war. For the past few centuries, it's been a seat of power passed from one generation to the next. This is a holy ground for Makihisa. No, for all those related to the Tonos. Yeah, we all need to remember to drink plenty of water. I remember seeing different adults vying for a piece of it, currying favor with the old man while staying at the mansion for the yearly family meeting. We're all extremely successful business people with their own fancy homes. For whatever reason, they were obsessed with the Tono Manor. Getting to live there must have been a point of pride for them. It all sounds ridiculous. It's just a big fancy house to me. I've never been comfortable with being privileged.
さて
There's no going back now. Small doorbell is placed next to the comparatively huge double doors. I shake off my nerves and ring the bell. There is no familiar ding-dong. Heavy silence continues for a few seconds. The sound of hurried footsteps comes from the other side of the doors.
はいお待ち申し上げておりました
The doors swing open with surprising ease for their size. Ooh. I narrow my eyes at the waning afternoon light streaming through the windows. I had meant to prepare myself for the sight, but my breath catches as I look over the gigantic lobby. What astonishingly beautiful architecture. It feels like I've traveled to a different country at a different time. The look of the mansion is so old-fashioned, even the very air itself seems foreign. Even so, the lobby still feels familiar. Maid! Maid! Kohaku. I find myself frozen as the girl who answered the door stands before me, dressed in traditional attire.
よかった。あんまりにも遅いものですから、お迷いになられているのではと心配していたんですよ。日が落ちてもいらっしゃらないようでしたら、こちらからお迎えに向かうところでした。
The girl, wearing an apron over her kimono, smiles brightly.
いや
Find myself speechless at this unexpected welcome. I was expecting the stony-faced man who served as my father's assistant and butler to be the one to greet me. You might have seen her in like Melty Blood, because she's one of the playable characters in that. The girl tilts her head, likely wondering at the reason for my hesitance.
四季様ですよね。
はい様っていうのはその余計だけど
ですよね。もう脅かさないでください。私また間違えてしまったのかと怖くなってしまったじゃないですか。
The girl wags her finger like a mother admonishing her child. She seems genuinely upset with me for having worried her. Yet even so, her smile never fades, nor does the warmth emanating from her. An apron draped over her kimono, coming to greet me and calling me master. That must mean...
すみませんもしかしてここのお手伝いさんですか
The girl answers my question with a smile.
さあ、お疲れでしょ。
More like dodges the question with a smile.
遠慮せずに上がってくださいな。秋葉様がお手すきになるまで今でおくつろぎください。
The girl motions for me to follow her and begins walking. We move towards the hallway on the east side of the lobby, next to the giant staircase. I seem to remember that the parlor is just inside the hallway. I call out to her and ask her name. I decide to call out to her and ask her name. I can't just be calling her Miss Housekeeper the whole time.
すみません名前を聞いていいですか来たばかりで今のうちの事情がよくつかめなくて
I call out to her. The kimono-clad girl looks at me surprised.
琥珀と申します。このお屋敷で遠野家のご当主様に仕えさせていただいております。
The girl, Kohaku, gives me a slight bow and a smile. It's a lovely kind of gesture, somehow evocative of a bud blooming into a flower. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna... We'll at least be seeing her name quite a few times. But my memory is terrible, too. My memory is terrible, too, though. The only reason why I can remember is because I played a ton of Melty Blood. And I find all of her moves to be pretty funny. The girl leads me to the parlor. The parlor looks so much fancier compared to what I remember. It's like seeing it for the first time. Oh yeah, they're releasing another. They were releasing like another part, which I think will give routes to Akiya, Kohaku, and Oh, Hisui, the other maid. Don't know what they're going to do for Akia's route, though. That just seems kind of odd. But then again, it might... I'm not going to think about I'm not going to think about that. Because this is not that game. Or this only has Arcuate and CL's routes. The parlor looks so much fancier compared to what I remember. It's like seeing it for the first time. Either I'm just too used to how things were with the Arima family, or they've made this room even more extravagant since it was last year. Regardless, this place feels like someone else's home. Look around the parlor restlessly. I'm guessing for Akia's route, it would probably be like, oh, they weren't actually related. Or something like that. At least that's what my guess would be. I like Kohaku.
そうですよね。
Yeah, it'd still be pretty awkward. Flustered, I lowered myself onto the sofa. It's pathetic how overwhelmed I've become from simply returning home. The kimono-clad girl makes her way over to a cart in the corner of the room and pours a cup of tea from it. She places the cup on a tray and carries it over to me.
どうぞ。ソチャですが。あ、ありがとうございます。
I can't help but feel a sense of embarrassment being waited on with such a warm smile. I think that's just who I am, rather than something that comes from living with a more modest family.
明葉様に声をおかけしてきますので、しばらくお待ちください。そうですね。おそらく10分ほどかかりますから、それまでお屋敷の中を見て回るのもよろしいかと。
いいんですか？勝手に歩き回って。
何をおっしゃいますやら。ここは四季様のお家です。勝手も何もございません。あ、いえ、でも2階はちょっと行けませんね。あ、1階でしたらお好きにご観覧ください。四季様にとっては7年ぶりのお屋敷ですもの。懐かしくて胸が弾んでいますでしょ。
I guess that could technically be correct if you mean over... I don't know. I don't even know where I was actually going with that. I'm just gonna stop myself before I say something stupid. She smiles mischievously. She smiles mischievously. I've never been good at pronouncing that word. Mischievously? Okay. She smiles mischievously. Kohaku gives a slight bow and leaves the room. Yeah, whenever I start yapping too much, whenever I start yapping so much or too much, I have to stop myself, or else I'll go on a really long. I'm not gonna ask you to, because it's kind of an awkward word to pronounce. But anyway, yeah, if I start yapping too much, I wind up going on like a 90-minute tangent about something. My muttering echoes sadly through the extravagant parlor. Do I stay here sitting nervously? Do I take a look around the mansion? I think I'll stretch my legs. 10 minutes. 10 minutes, huh? Maybe I'll take a look around if I have that much time. I should have time to look around the East Wing at the very least. I rise up from the couch. I think I remember the rec room had a billiards table and a dartboard in the West Wing.
おや、戻る前に立ち寄ったのだが、先客がいたとはね。
Wait, who's that? A voice calls out the moment I step into the lobby. I turn to the giant staircase to find... What the? A strange man dressed head to toe in black. This mummy-looking dude looks like a mummy. I have no... Sorry, I have no idea. I've got no clue what's up with this dude. I think I saw him... No, look. Yeah. I think I saw this dude in the trailers, and his mere existence completely slipped my mind.
こんにちは、四季君。塔の邸にようこそ。というのは間違いか。君の場合、おかえりというのが正しかった。
A man who, based on his voice, I assume is in his 30s, descends the stairs calmly. Yep, personal space man. There's not a trace of color on him. His entire body is wrapped in black bandages. It looks like he stepped straight out of a mystery novel.
あなたは
覚えていないのか。ああ、そうか。私だよ。佐伯ゴートだ。
Alright, Psyche Goto.
君が子供の頃に何度か顔を合わせたことはあったが、このなりではね、覚えていても一致はしないだろう。
Psyche? Was there a branch family with that name? More importantly, this man...
構わんよ。キーの視線には慣れている。私は事故で顔を焼いてしまってね。ずいぶん前からこうでもしないと出歩けない体になっている。秋葉にも煙たがられているが、こればかりは仕方のないことだ。彼女にも責任の一端はあることだしね。
Goto Psyche gives a self-deprecating laugh as he lifts up his left hand to shade his eyes. The glare from the skylight must be too bright for him.
しかしまあ、よくも帰ってこられたものだ。君のことだよ、四季君。牧久の言いつけを破って屋敷を抜け出した結果、くだらない事故に巻き込まれて脱落した。脱落。そう、脱落だ。君はご両親からの投資を投げ捨て、自らの義務を放棄した脱落者だ。にもかかわらず、こうして屋敷に戻り、秋葉の兄として振る舞おうとしている。そんな自分が恥ずかしいと思わないのかね。
Look, man, I literally just got back here. I don't know what's going on. I don't need to be accosted by some random, or by some guy I don't even remember. Or I'm already having a bad enough time. I resist the urge to confront him. Contempt in Goto's eyes is obvious, but there's no reason to escalate things further. Besides, he isn't wrong.
おや、反論はないのかな。
ないですよ。義務を放棄したのは事実ですから。でも脱落者とか投資とか
家族の話だからこそ的確な言葉を選んだんだがね。養育は一族の将来への投資だ。知性の人間はともかく、選ばれた血筋、尊い家系において個人の自由は存在しない。自由？いや、自意識と言ってもいいな。それらは成人した後、一族を背負えるようになって初めて獲得できる権利のはずだ。君は遠野の子でありながらそれを理解していなかった。 秋葉とは似ても似つかぬ三流だ。まあ一度地に落ちていながら帰ってくる高顔さだけは一流と言えなくもないがね。そう睨むな四季君。今のはただの客観論だよ。私個人の評価じゃない。誤解させてしまったようだが、私は君の帰還に反対はしていない。どちらかというと賛成派だし、そもそも遠野家現当主の決定でもある。
Outsider? Isn't part of a branch family?
佐伯家は祖父の代から遠野家とは対等の付き合いをしている。現代風に言うとビジネスパートナーというやつだ。今日は商談に来ただけでね。長引いてしまったが、色よい返事をもらえて上機嫌で帰るところだったのさ。ああ、この陰気な姿でせっかくの帰郷に水を差すのも忍びない。
The bandaged man, Goto Saiki, passes by me and walks towards the entrance, all the while his lips curled in a sarcastic smile. I bite my lip, thinking of the word Saiki used. Failure. He's right. Word describes my place in this house perfectly. Regardless, I should go back to the parlor and calm down. I'll walk around later. I don't want to ruin my first meeting with Akia in 7 years by feeling like this. Yeah, I don't trust that smile.
失礼いたします。
I do trust Kohaku's smile. She seems nice. The girl returns exactly 10 minutes later.
四季様、何かお気に障ることでもありました？
She must be able to tell that Goto Saiki's words have affected
い
me.
え、なんでもないんです。ちょっと気をされているだけで。あ、お茶、ありがとうございました。美味しかったです。
お上手ですね。こちらこそお褒めいただきありがとうございます。
She smiles bashfully, brightening the room.
と、それより本題ですね。
You know what? That's fair. That's entirely fair.
お待たせいたしました。秋葉様のご用事がお済みになりましたので、執務室においでください。
We ascend the large staircase in the lobby to the second floor. Akia's office, part of the Tono family. I was never allowed to enter Makihisa's office when I was a child. A room occupied by each generation's family head. And that room now belongs to my sister. Yeah, cheerful character always has the... something... In Dark Works, the cheerful characters always have death flags all around them. In contrast to the bright white of the parlor, the office is colored a dark red. Luxurious curtains line the windows. Deep crimson carpet, immaculately kept, is placed on the floor. The refined air to the room is thick with a sense of history. This is where Makihisa Tono once presided as head of the family, and now it's where Akiha will carry that burden forward.
四季様をお連れしました。ご苦労様。仕事に戻っていいわよ、琥珀。はい。それでは失礼いたしますね。
Kohaku gives me a slight bow before exiting the room. The only people left in the room are myself and two girls I don't recognize.
お久しぶりですね、兄さん。
The dark-haired girl casts a dignified gaze at me as she speaks. My head is blank. Gears in my brain have stopped turning. All I managed to do is nod and agree. I'm pathetic. I suppose it may be understandable. She looks different from how I remember her.
兄さん、 何かこの部屋に不審な点でも？
The black-haired girl narrows her eyes as if she were measuring up a stranger.
いや、
Nothing coherent escapes my lips as my mind struggles to catch up. I'm still trying to figure out if she's really my sister or not, even though she's clearly already accepted who I am.
話には聞いていましたが、本当に体調が不安定なんですね。時間は無駄にしますが、私からの話の前にお休みになられますか？
She frowns. Her words seem to have more bite to them than I expected.
いや、体調はそう悪くない。秋葉があんまりにも変わってたんで、びっくりしたというか。
7年も経てば変わります。ただでさえ私たちは成長期だったんですから。それともいつまでも以前のままだと思っていたんですか、兄さんは。
いや、それは。
I stammer, crushed under the weight of her quiet ferocity. I feel bad. For all this time, it hadn't even occurred to me to think about how Akia may have changed. I only thought of her as a little girl who used to follow me around. The last 7 years haven't only been hard on me. I'm an idiot for it to only sink in now that she's right here in front of me.
面目ない。正直考えが足りなかった。でも、それにしたって秋葉は変わったよ。昔より格段に美人になった。
Clearer words finally filter their way out.
ありがとうございます。兄さんは以前とあまり変わってはいませんね。
She is also a playable character in Melty Blood. Pretty much Melty Blood is a spin-off of this series, or of this game. So, if you see any of the characters are, if you recognize any of the characters, it might be from Melty Blood. Akia speaks coldly, her eyes closed. Well, I had expected something like this. She must resent me for leaving the family. A silence falls over us as we take a second to study one another. I was unable to say anything worthwhile to a sister I hadn't seen in 7 years. Akia stares at me with a guarded expression, inspecting me as if I were some intruder. Though to her, I may very well be.
まあいいでしょう。体調が良いのなら話を済ませましょう。今回の移転について詳しい事情は聞いていますか？
Yeah, you should get Melty Blood whenever it's on sale. It's honestly, Type Lumina is honestly a pretty good deal because you don't I still would recommend getting it on sale. But one good thing is that all of the DLC for it is for optional stuff. You don't have to pay any extra for the DLC characters. So you're not at an inherent disadvantage for not wanting to shell out extra for DLC content.
いや、詳しい事情は何も。いいから屋敷に帰ってこいって話だけだ。親父が亡くなったことは新聞で知ったけど。
Oh, but yeah, that is half the reason why. That's half the reason why I'm hesitant to get Guilty Gear or Street Fighter, because I look at the number of DLC fighters, characters that I nearly have a heart attack at how much it would cost to actually be able to practice or get any sort of training on them that isn't me getting my teeth kicked in on the ladder. It's not all surprising that the death of someone presiding over a massive conglomerate would make the business section of most papers. We live in a world where a son, disowned by his family, learns of his own father's death on the internet. News reached me after his funeral had already happened, like I was a complete stranger.
申し訳ありません。お父様のことを兄さんに知らせなかったのはこちらの失策でした。
Akia lowers her head quietly. Her hair is beautiful, but that's not important right now. My wording was the problem here.
そこは気にしなくていいんじゃないかな。俺が言ったって死人が生き返るわけでもないんだ。逆に親戚筋に合わなくて助かった。
Yeah, losing a lot. It really does suck losing a lot. But Melty Blood also does have like a training or like a missions mode that helps you practice, that teaches you some basic combos for each character. I'm glad that one of my favorite characters, and honestly the character whose route I'm gonna try to go for first, Arcade, is a top tier character, and the exact archetype I like the most, that being rushdown characters. I love rushdown. I like getting in my opponent's face and not letting up the gas. Can't imagine they would be kind to me.
そうですか。そう言っていただけると私も少しは気が楽になります。
I'm lucky to have such an understanding sister. A funeral is an occasion that offers closure to those unable to accept the passing of a loved one. My relationship with my father ended a long time ago. Yeah, why block when your opponent's already... Why block when you can keep your opponent from ever putting an attack out in the first place? My relationship with my father ended a long time ago. I have no obligation or desire to attend something like that for Makihisa. I haven't once thought about how I'd say goodbye to
で
him.
もそうなると誰が俺を呼び戻したんだ。親父の遺言ってわけでもないんだろ。
兄さんをこちらに呼び戻したのは私の決定です。いつまでも遠野の長男が有馬の家に預けられているのはおかしいでしょ。どんな欠陥があろうとあなたは遠野の人間なのですから。
I accept the word defect without a second thought. My father used it often. It doesn't bother me anymore. If anything, she's right.
お父様、遠野牧久が亡くなった以上、遠野の血筋は私と兄さんだけです。血は守られなければいけません。お父様がどのような考えで兄さんを有馬の家に預けたかは知りませんが、そのお父様もすでに他界なさった身。
Yeah, I got a friend that plays Guilty Gear a lot, and I've been thinking of getting into it at some point, but yeah, I feel like I would get absolutely bodied on the ladder.
理由が定かではない以上、当の指揮をこちらで監督するのは家族として当然のことでしょ。
Aki's words are quiet but firm, as if she were shutting down any possible objections I could have before I even raised them. Very true. Very true. Oh wait, I have Guilty Gear. I have like one of the really old Guilty Gear games, but I don't know how much of that would actually translate to Strive. Also, when I say old, I mean like 2003, I think.
監督するか。じゃあもし遠野の家に帰ることを拒否してたらどうなっていたんだ。
そんな自由はあなたにはありません。有馬の人間にも本家からの決定を拒む権利はありません。
Well, the Guilty Gear game is from that long ago. I picked it up like 2 or 3 years ago. I'm not old enough to be able to remember playing. I'm not quite old enough to remember really playing anything like before 2004.
私も兄さんも
Besides, I
遠
don't.
野家に育てられたものです。少なくとも成人し社会的に自立するまではあなたは遠野家に隷属する義務があります。
Besides, I don't think my parents would have let me play Guilty Gear when I was that young. Akihisa used to say the same thing. Parents are responsible for raising their children and preparing them for society. Just like any good business, a family can't be sending defective products to market. It would only serve to harm their good name and degrade society as a whole. An individual unwilling to remove such a product has no right to be a parent, and a child unable to bear the responsibilities given unto them has no place in the family. Makihisa Tono spoke of this many times to Aki and I, almost like it was more for him than us.
親父の口癖だったな。じゃあ、俺を呼び戻した理由は単に。
She cuts me off without any consideration for her poor brother, disowned by her narrow-minded father.
どのような経緯であれ、あなたが遠野家の長男だからです。それ以外に理由があるとでも。
She's cold, but I like Akia. Or she's cold, but she does seem to... At least the vibe I'm getting is she does actually care for Shiki. Just another day of cleaning up loose ends for the head of the Tono family.
理解していただけて何よりです。言うまでもありませんが、私の発言は遠野家当主のものとして受け取ってください。兄さん、私はあなたを兄として尊重しますが、同時にこの家を預かる者としてあなたを遠野家の財産として扱います。7年前のことは忘れて、私たちは当主とその家人であることを肝に銘じてくださいますよ。
Akia speaks without emotion. This is a command from the head of the house rather than my sibling. It carries an air of cold detachment. But...
それはそれでわかりやすい。はっきり言ってくれた方が俺もすっきりする。
This is the natural way of things. There's no reason for me to be offended.
私の言葉を理解していますか？私は兄さんより上の立場で、それを承諾しろと一方的に宣言したつもりですけど。
わかってるし、文句はないよ。だって、どう考えてもこの扱いになるだろう、今の俺は。むしろ、7年間好き放題に生きてきた俺に、妹としてきちんと礼を取ってくれる明葉に感謝してる。けど、明葉の考えは別にして、親戚の連中がよく納得したな。俺を有馬の家に預けろって言い出したの、確か親戚の人たちじゃなかったっけ？
そうですね。ですが、今の当主は私です。親戚の方たちの進言は全て却下しました。この件に関して意見を挟むということは、私にひいては遠野に逆らうことだと明言しましたから。
I'm stunned. Even Makihisa wasn't able to ignore her relatives, but Akia was able to persuade them? No, if anything, she would probably argue them into submission. I see. Akia has grown in more ways than one, and as her brother, it's a little terrifying.
兄さん、ぼーっとしたお顔をされ。
ああ、いや、感心したというか、感動したというか、本当に当主として認められたんだな。
当たり前です。そうでもなければ兄さんを呼び戻せないでしょう。話を戻します。兄さんには今日からここで暮らしていただきますが、ここにはここの規律があります。今までのような無作法は避けていただきますから、そのつもりで。
おそりゃ無理だよ、明葉。今さら俺がお行儀いい人間に戻れるわけないし、戻ろうって気もないんだから。
いえ、何があろうと戻っていただきます。子供じゃあるまいし、 試す前から泣き言は結構です。それとも、私にできたことが兄さんにはできないとおっしゃるのですか？
Akia shoots a frigid glare in my direction. It pierces through me like an icicle. There's no doubt about it. 7 years worth of resentment is finally being blasted my way now.
わかった。できるだけ努力はしてみる。
努力はするですか。都合のいい返答ですね。
I mean, to be fair, she did have to be forced through being brought up as the heir to the family, while her older brother got sent away to live like a normal life. I'd be surprised if there wasn't at least a little bit of resentment. Actually, yeah, Shiki mentioned that. But yeah, I think she'll warm up after a bit.
努力をすれば誰であれ報われるとでも。私が求めているのは結果だけですので、そのつもりで。
I'm unable to form any kind of response in the face of her ruthless assault.
いいです。兄さんは今まで自由気ままに暮らしていたんですから、すぐに生活を正せとは言いません。最短で1週間、最長で1ヶ月の猶予を差し上げますので、どうぞ死ぬ気で努力してください。
I don't think I'll be getting any more time after that. This must be how Akia makes compromises.
ですね。そこまで無茶な話ではありませんから。現在、屋敷には兄さんと私しか住んでいません。うるさ型の親戚筋がいては、兄さんも落ち着けないでしょうし、私も煩わしいので、人払いは済ませました。
Wait a second. Had them leave. Then...
お前、屋敷に居候してる親戚全員追い出したのか？
ええ、どうぞお気になさらず。家と財産を失いながら何の努力もせず、お父様の温情にすがっていただけの方々です。遅かれ早かれ屋敷から出て行ってもらう予定でした。あ、使用人たちも大部分に暇を出しましたが、私と兄さん付きのものは残しましたので問題はありません。
いや、問題ないってありすぎるだろ。そんな勝手をしまくったら次の親戚会議でやり玉にあげられるぞ。
もうつべこべ言わないでください。兄さんだって屋敷の中に人があふれ返っているより、私たちしかいない方が気持ちは楽でしょ。
She's definitely right about that.
いや、でもだな。本当にそれでいいのか？親父だって親戚の意見には逆らわなかったのに、そんな暴君みたいなわがままを通しちまって。
そうですね。だからお父様は兄さんを有馬の家に預けたんです。けれど私、子供の頃からあの人たちが大嫌いでしたから。これ以上どうでもいい彼らの小言を聞くのはごめんです。
ごめんですって、アキハ。
ああ、もういいから、私なんかの心配は結構です。そんなことより兄さんはこれからのご自分の生活を案じてください。
Akia says this curtly, forcing the conversation in another direction.
状況はご理解いただけたとは思いますが、兄さんはまだ有馬での暮らしが抜けきれていない様子。 それもいいでしょう。そのための使用人です。
That's a slightly evil look on her face.
この先わからないことがあったらこの子に言いつけて。翡翠。
Hisui. Akio, without turning, calls the girl waiting at the back of the room. Ah, she's cute. The girl named Hisui takes a step forward and gives a bow. It's a polite, though emotionless bow, like servitude made manifest.
この子は翡翠。うちの使用人です。これから兄さん付きの次女にしますが、よろしいですね。
So she's another one of the housekeepers. Wait, what?
次女ってつまりその。
わかりやすく言うと召使いということです。
I don't believe it. Both Akio and the girl look like nothing out of the ordinary has been
ち
said.
ょっと待ってくれ。召使いとか大げさすぎないか。自分のことぐらい自分で面倒を見れるっていうか。
食事の支度や洗濯もですか。
Akio's sure on point.
ともかくこの屋敷に戻ってきた以上、私の指示には従ってもらいます。有馬の家ではどう暮らしていたかは知りませんが、これからの兄さんは遠野家で暮らす遠野家の長男なんです。相応の待遇は義務として受け入れてください。
My gaze wanders over the girl clad in maid attire. Hisui shows little emotion on her face. She looks like a doll as she returns my gaze.
それじゃあ翡翠、兄さんを部屋に案内してあげて。この人は右も左もわからない子猫と変わらないようですから、この広い屋敷でいきなり迷子にならないようにね。
I love that slightly evil look on Akia's face.
かしこまりました、秋葉様。
Hisui bows to Akiha and walks towards me quietly. She looks towards me, but her gaze is fixated in a way that ensures our eyes don't meet. Her steps are measured, but far from slow. I can tell she's done this for a long time. Oh, yeah, if you think... Yeah, the guy who's done the art for Type Moon, like the head, if you want to see some good like facial expressions done by the artist for this, look up Alco faces on Alco Ozaki faces on Google, and you'll see a few screen nabs from Mahoyo. Alco just has the funniest expressions on the planet, especially like her angry expressions.
あ、それと兄さん、長男といえどこの屋敷では禁止された事柄、立ち入ってはいけない場所があります。それを犯したりすることのないように。翡翠には兄さんのお守りも命じてありますから、翡翠の進言にはできる限り耳を傾けてください。
それ、お守りじゃなくて監視役って言わないか。
兄さんが規則正しい生活をしてくだされば、翡翠もそんな役割から解放されます。それではまた。
Akia must be busy if she can't spare any more time than this.
お部屋にご案内いたします、四季様。
Hisui moves towards the door, paying my obvious confusion no mind. I sigh as I leave the office. We make our way back out to the second floor lobby. The lobby splits the Tono mansion into two wings. It's like a giant bird in flight, extending its wings far in both directions. Each wing is roughly the size of a small hospital. I vaguely recall that the building is symmetrical. She's busy. She wants you to go away. pretty much. I vaguely recall that the building is symmetrical, with the same number of rooms on both sides.
四季様のお部屋はこちらです。
Instead of descending the stairs, Hisui continues along the walkway, overlooking the lobby towards the west wing. I guess that means my room is on the second floor of the west wing. The sun has already set outside. Blue carpets line the hallway, extending in either direction. The uniform white walls bring a castle to mind. The maid walks down the hall lit by warm orange lights. No filter between brain and mouth here.
四季様、何かご質問でも。
いや、ただの独り言だから気にしないでくれ。
Hisui gives a slight bow after glancing at me, and continues walking again. Huh, that's a pretty spacious room. Or a pretty spacious bedroom. Wait. It's also like a sitting room off to the side. I don't know what to say. That's not the first... And that's not the first time since returning to the mansion. Floors made with expensive teak wood. Ceiling that must be at least 3 meters high. I think I can see a sunroom further down the hall. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's big. I'm pretty sure that this room is... I'm pretty sure in total that room's probably about as big as my apartment. Okay, maybe not... Maybe not, Okay, no. Actually, given how big the mansion is, I wouldn't be surprised that total square foot's equivalent. I think I can see a sunroom further down the hall. Room Hisui shows me to isn't where you'd expect a high schooler just to live.
俺の部屋ってここ。
はい。ご不満がおありのようでしたら、違うお部屋をご用意させていただきますが。
いや、不満なんてあるわけないけど、その。
It's way too fancy for me.
四季様。
I mean, yeah, he did. Or Shiki did note that the building itself was the same size as his high school.
いいんだ。なんでもない。喜んでこの部屋を使わせてもらうよ。
はい。お部屋は7年前から手を加えていませんので、不自由はないと思います。
Does that mean...
ちょっといいかな。ここ、7年前は俺の部屋だったとか。
そう伺っておりますが、違うのですか?
Hisui tilts her head slightly. I feel a little better. So she isn't completely devoid of emotion.
まあ、言われてみれば確かに。少しは覚えがあるし、きっとそうだったんだろう。
This doesn't feel like my room at all, but I guess that's what happens when you've been gone for 7 years.
けど、やっぱり落ち着かないな。今朝まで4畳半の部屋で暮らしてたからさ、高級ホテルに泊まりに来たみたいだ。
お気持ちはわかりますが、どうかお慣れください。四季様は今日から遠野家のご長男なのですから。
まあ、そうだね。せめて外見ぐらいは笑われないように頑張ってみるよ。
I set my bag on the desk and stretch. I'm still a bit overwhelmed by everything, but I don't have much choice other than to just get used to it. At the very least, I need to be comfortable enough to relax in my own space.
それと、昨夜のうちに届いたお荷物はすべて運び込みましたが、問題はありませんか?
いや、別にないけど。あ、なんか持ち込んじゃいけないものでもあったとか?
いえ、お荷物が少なすぎるようですから。必要なものがあればご用意いたしますので、どうかお聞かせください。
そっか。いや、とりあえず足りないものはないよ。もともと荷物は少ないんだ。 自分の荷物って言ったら、そのカバンとこのメガネと。
The only things in my bag are my textbooks and a white ribbon I've kept for a long
ともか
time.
く荷物のことは気にしないでいい。こんな立派な部屋だけで十分だ。
かしこまりました。では1時間後にお呼びに参ります。
1時間後ってもしかして夕食？
はい、それまでどうぞおくつろぎください。
Hisui says, devoid of emotion as seems to be your usual. Now my problem is how to kill an hour. It's just past 6. If it were yesterday, I would just play with my phone or watch some TV in the living room, but I can't see the mansion having a place for people to get together and wind down.
翡翠、つまらないことを聞くけどさ、この屋敷にテレビとか通信回線とかあるの？
テレビと通信回線。
Hisui narrows her eyes ever so slightly. Even asking the question gives me a headache. Asking about modern luxuries in a decadent, old-fashioned mansion like this seems wrong.
今にはありません。西館には娯楽室がありますが、こちらは鍵がかけられています。先日まで逗留なされていた皆様は私物を持ち込まれていましたが、出立される時に荷物はお持ち帰りいただきましたので、残ってはいないと思います。
秋葉が追い出した親戚筋か。逗留って誰がどのくらいしてたんだ？
久我峰様のご長男とそのご家族の皆様が1階に士官の3部屋を、東崎様のご三女とその婚約者の方が2階に士官の角部屋を、木島様のご長男が1階東館の1部屋を。皆様3年ほどお過ごしになられました。あとは確か先代である牧久様の主治医様が屋敷に逗留されていたと聞いています。
3年もか。なあ翡翠、そういうのって逗留って言うんじゃなくて居候って言うんじゃないか？
Hisui doesn't answer. Her position as a housemaid must prevent her from voicing her personal opinions about the guests. But yes, I would consider that probably more freeloading than just being a normal guest. Especially given that they were basically doing it, well, how the head of the family for possession of the house. Regardless if they've taken all their belongings with them, I can't expect to find anything I can use. Maki said hated any kind of modern convenience, so I can't imagine he would have allowed them access to the internet or a TV. Maki must have taken after our father.
ま、ないからって別に死ぬわけでもないか。
Well, he probably does have that. He probably does have that power, but I'm pretty sure Hisui is pretty much the epitome of professionalism as a maid. So she would probably not say anything rude even if you told her to. If nothing else, I still have my phone. Take it out of my pocket and check the time. Silly to think I was actually worried I might not get service here. It may not be much, but I'm relieved to have at least some way of connecting to the internet. I'd expected to be stuck without one, considering how out of this world this place is. Meanwhile, Hisui is silent. I don't know if it's just her trying to be professional, but Hisui doesn't speak unless it's necessary or she's asked something. Nothing used to having a personal attendant. It's a little unnerving. I'd like to try and make her smile somehow, but it's not going to be easy.
確か1階の西館の方に書庫があったっけ？暇な時はそこから何か見繕うことにするよ。
Hisui doesn't respond. She's looking in my direction, but her eyes are fixed on the empty space next to me, rather like a cat.
翡翠？
Hisui says nothing, until she suddenly returns her gaze to me.
姉さんの部屋にならあると思います。
It's like making a wall feel anything. Blurt out without meaning to. Could she mean...
ですから以前姉さんの部屋で見かけた記憶がありますから。
Hisui says, like she's recalling a memory from long
よかっ
ago.
た。ここでもそれぐらいはあるんだ。ってちょっと待って。姉さんってもしかして琥珀さんのこと？
はい。現在このお屋敷で働かせていただいているものは私と姉さんの二人きりです。
Now that I think about it, they do look a lot alike. Hisui's so different from her cheery sister. I didn't even consider that they might be related.
そっか。あの人なら確かにバラエティ番組を見てそうなキャラクターだ。
Stop short of asking to use it, as I feel too embarrassed to go into her room.
ごめん。この話はなかったことにしてくれ。これからここで暮らすんだから、屋敷のルールには従わなくっちゃいけないしね。
I don't think Akiya would ever let me live it down if I spent my first night back lounging in front of the TV. I'll act the perfect little student, someone worthy of the Tono name.
夕食まで部屋にいるから、時間になったら呼びに来てくれ。翡翠だって他にやることあるだろ。
Hisui nods affirmatively and puts her hand on the doorknob. The door opens with a faint squeak. Hisui leaves the room after a small bow. Ooh, fancy dining room. I dine with Akiya. Kohaku and Hisui are completely devoted to serving the two of us. Servants aren't allowed to dine at the same table as their masters. It goes without saying, but having grown up with the animas, this setup makes me uncomfortable. I've also completely forgotten about table manners. Humans have evolved the ability to remove useless pieces of information from their minds, which means any memories that I had of table etiquette are long gone. Every movement I make elicits a raised eyebrow from Akiya. It's nerve-wracking, but it does spice up our mealtime. To be honest, the idea that I'll be doing this every day from now on is disheartening. Dinner ends in silence. I was so desperate to remember my table manners I wasn't even able to come up with any small talk. Akiya seemed displeased the whole time. Hisui and Kohaku have just finished taking away our plates when the reckoning comes.
やはり徹底的な再教育が必要なようですね。
Re-education. She says plainly. Cold, cruel comment reverberates around the dining room.
誰にどのような。
Yeah, she...
兄さんにふさわしい心構えをです。
I knew it. That's what she was thinking about while raising her eyebrows at me.
その具体的には。
まずは生活習慣の改善。夜間の外出は当然禁止です。門限は8時とします。どのような理由であれ、外出の時は私か琥珀、翡翠の許可を取るように。
An 8 p.m. curfew. How old does she think I am? More importantly, I need permission just to leave?
待て待て、それは。
休日の学習スケジュールはこちらで立てておきます。報告によると、兄さんの成績は中の中だそうですね。
Or as average as average can be.
まったく。相変わらず効率よく手を抜くのだけは得意なようで。
とんでもない。俺はいつだって全力だ。
ですが、この屋敷にいる間は本気を出していただきますから、そのつもりで。兄さんはやればできる人なんですから、お体のことを考慮しても、学年3位以内は当然でしょ。
My sister is painfully overestimating me. And it's scary how much she knows about my grades.
他の習い事は もう少し落ち着いてからにしましょうか。それでは兄さん、本題のあれを出してください。
はい。
What does she mean by it?
あれといえばあれです。あるでしょう。兄さんのズボンにも若者の象徴のような汚らわしいあれが。
Phrasing? But yes, I know she means his phone.
それを隠さずに出しなさいと言っているのです。
いや、ますますわからない。これが上流階級のすることか。一般市民を何だと思ってるんだ、お前は。
I know I know what it sounds like she's asking him to do, but I immediately realized that she's referring to his phone.
ですから携帯端末を出してください。兄さんだって持っているんでしょ。
なるほど。
I take out my phone from my back pocket. As soon as I place it on the table, Hisui wordlessly takes the phone and gives it to Akia.
これは没収します。当家ではこの手の電子機器は禁止です。健全な学生には不要なものですから。電話ならロビーの備え付けのものを使うように。調べ物がしたいのでしたら図書室をどうぞ。
Akia cuts our one-sided conversation short and leaves the dining room. Finishes dinner, immediately scolds brother, confiscates phone, leaves without elaborating. Or, well, technically she did elaborate. Akia cuts our one-sided conversation short and leaves the dining room. She acts more like a strict teacher than, like, I think a 16-year-old. I find myself stunned into silence for the nth time today. I was never super attached to my phone. I mostly used it for texting and check the news when I had some free time. Though, like most people, I consider it a basic necessity. It's another reminder of how strict the Tono household really is. I mean, banning phones in this day and age. Actually, this makes me wonder how Kohaku managed to sneak a TV into her room. I return to my room now that dinner is finished. It's just past 9:30 p.m. Spent about 2 hours in the dining room in the end.
お帰りなさいませ、四季様。ご指示はありませんでしたが、就寝の支度をさせていただきました。
Oh yeah, Discord. Discord is pretty much how I talk to, like, my main friend group. Actually, I met my main friend group over Discord. But yeah, half the time I use my phone, it's either on, like, Arknights or... yeah, Arknights or Discord. Or YouTube when I need to work out or something. And need something to listen to. Oh, by the way, did you know that YouTube started like, shoving in ads on the mobile app whenever you pause a video? I saw that the other day, and I noticed that the other day, and it's like, I was thinking to myself, I already have to go through enough ads just watching any video on the app. Are you really going to shove more ads in whenever I pause a video to go, or to, like, go check something? But yeah, I think it was in a recent update. But yeah, I'm sure, yeah, it's not too hard to find friends through Discord. But I will say I did get kind of lucky finding my friend group. Hisui greets me as soon as I enter my bedroom. I see my bed waiting for me, neatly made. She was a step ahead of me, it seems.
ありがとう。
寝巻きはそちらのものをお使いください。着ていらしたお洋服はそちらのカゴに入れ、廊下に出しておいてくだされば助かります。
A wicker basket. A wicker basket is placed at the foot of the bed. I assume if I put my dirty clothes in here and place it in the hallway, then Hisui will clean them for me. This is starting to feel even more like some upscale hotel.
何かご質問はございますか？
Hisui stands there, still as a statue. I have plenty of questions, but it dawns on me that I know very little about Hisui of Kohaku.
あまり関係ない話なんだけど、いいかい？
はい、何でしょう？
翡翠と琥珀さんがここでどんな仕事をしてるのか知りたいんだけど、どうかな？
私が式様付きで、姉の琥珀は秋葉お嬢様のお世話をさせていただいております。お二人が留守の間は屋敷の管理を任されていますが、それが何か？
お世話って、やっぱりそういうことか。
My shoulders feel heavy. Aki explained everything like it went without saying. I'm just a normal high school student. I don't have much interest in being waited on hand and foot by a girl my own age.
式様付きってことは、俺専用の使用人ってこと？
はい。何なりと申し付けてください。
Hisui bows deeply. My chest tightens with guilt.
わかった。秋葉のあの言いぶりじゃ、俺を一人にはしないだろうし、そもそも俺の気持ちの問題で君を解雇させるのは良くはないと思う。ありがたくお世話になるけど。
何か特別なご要望でもあるのですか？
そんな大それたことじゃなくて、その四季様っていうのはちょっと、俺はそんな柄じゃないし、正直に白状すると分不相応すぎて首根っこをつかまれた気分になる。
ですが、四季様は私の主人です。
そうは言うけど、俺は今日まで普通に生きてきた身なんだ。帰ってきただけなのに、同い年ぐらいの子に様付けで呼ばれる生活とか、ちょっと難しい。
Hisui seems nonplussed.
俺のことは、遠野さんとか四季さんでいいよ。堅苦しいのはなしにしたいんだ。こっちも君を翡翠さんって呼ぶからさ。
Hisui, though otherwise expressionless, lowers her eyebrows and bites her lip. Man, I wanted to make things easier for her, but it looks like it may have had the opposite effect.
ですが、
俺が雇ってるわけじゃないだろ。
失礼ながら、それは同じことです、四季様。私どもは遠野家に仕える者。ご当主様もご親族の方も、共に尊ぶべき主であることに変わりはありません。ですので、どうか私のことは、お仕えする方に継承で呼ばれる使用人の心境を察していただければ幸いです。
Hard to argue against that. Her answer really does fit that of a manor servant.
俺にできないことをやってくれるんだから、ありがたがるのはこっちなんだけど。
Arguing would only serve to trouble her further. I'll refrain from voicing my own opinions on the matter for now.
呼び方、翡翠でいいんだね。
はい。何としてもそのように。
Her please has a bit of punch to it.
わかった。じゃあそのように。でも、俺に対してあんまり堅苦しいのはなしにしてほしい。お姉さんの琥珀さんにもそう伝えてくれるとありがたい。
はい。四季様がそうおっしゃるのなら。
Hisui lowers her head gracefully. Alright, looks like we've got a long ways to go until we can talk casually. Hisui leaves the room after bowing. The moment I'm alone, a wave of exhaustion crashes over me. A lot happened today. My body is crying out for some much-needed rest. I turn out the light and lie on the bed. I can tell I'll sleep like a rock. I try to fight against the sleep creeping in. Somehow able to keep my eyes open, but it's losing battle. No matter how hard I fight, I fall deeper. It's just how the human body is built. I stare at the ceiling, still in the space between consciousness and sleep. Back after 7 years. Seeing family again. It still feels like someone else's house.
でも帰ってきたんだろ
I say, trying to accept everything. My consciousness slips away as I sink into a deep slumber. A mansion on a high hill, far away from the bustling of the town. Like an island surrounded by a sea of trees. I come to the conclusion the instant my eyes close. It's like a prison. I awake suddenly. Nobody woke me, nor did I hear a sound. It just happened, seemingly for no reason. I wonder how long it's been since I woke up in the middle of the night. I get up, feeling like I've forgotten something. A shiver of unease creeps over me as I exit my room. I start down the hallway in search of a glass of water to slake my thirst. The long, moonlit hallway lies before me. The night is totally silent. It all feels so familiar. Must have done exactly this when I was younger. I find myself wandering to the stairs, aimlessly yet not. There, a hidden section of the mansion. Stairs connect not only the first and second floors, but also to an attic by way of a secret passage. Seems even the people living here have long forgotten this place. This room, once used for storage, shows no trace of anyone having used it in years. Despite being midway through October, it's unseasonably cold tonight. I rummage through the room, hoping to find a blanket. An old cabinet catches my eyes. I open each drawer. I find some odds and ends, but little of note. There's nothing worthwhile in the drawers. Even the giant chest I open has only a few scattered stones inside. A badge, a few trinkets, a pair of binoculars, all things a child might collect. Among them, a single thing stands out, apart from everything else. Stained bandages, sealed in a clear plastic case. They're rolled up neatly, but so old they can never be used. There's nothing here. I shut the drawer and start back to my room. Upon exiting the room, I realize my cheeks are wet. I wonder, could I have used this place when I was a child? Oh, okay. Please let me save my progress. This one... This one stream has been longer than any other... Has been longer than any of my Mahoyo streams. Actually, hang on. Hang on, I can look this up real quick. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this one stream is longer than... Okay. already this one stream is longer than my longest Mahoyo stream. I mean, I could have saved it. I think there was an option to save, but I wanted to get to like the I think there was an option to save in the pause menu, but I wanted to get to like the end of a chapter so I wouldn't just be picking up from random. So I wouldn't have to look back a bit. But yeah, so this stream is almost 4 hours long. Yeah, the stream's almost 4 hours long. We're currently at 3:56 or 3 hours 56 minutes, and my longest Witch on the Holy Night stream was 3 hours and 46 minutes, and that was like the longest chapter in that game. We're already like in total we're already this is going to be a very long series. I mean, I mean, hey, I'm excited to keep going through the game. I'm just starting to realize how much longer this game is going to be compared to the last Type Moon game Type Moon visual novel I read through. But yeah, thanks. If you ever get the chance, I recommend picking this up. If you want to go through it yourself. But I know there are two routes in this game: Arcuade and CL's routes. For the I know I think I'm gonna try to go for Arcuade's route first, and have like a short break for the series and then do CL's. But oh boy, this is a lot. Oh boy, this is gonna be a long series. But yeah, like I said earlier, that's where we're going to that's where we're gonna call it for the night. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see everyone later. Take care.